Hello. Can y'all hear me? Can everybody hear me? Let's see. Oh, I think people are saying where they from. I love it. You were not missing anything. I hadn't hit live yet, but I hit live now. So put a 1 in the chat. Let me make sure you can just see me, because I don't typically do lives like this. Okay, I see ones. I see some. Okay. So you guys can hear me and see me. First of all, if you are new to my channel, I am Mel, also known as I'm Not a Lawyer, but obviously I've been covering this trial for a very long time, since day one for sure, doing recaps. And so I'm so very excited that I got some jurors. I made a plea. I put out on Twitter and on TikTok, to say that if you were a juror in this trial and were interested in just kind of sharing your experience, to hit me up. And somebody hit me up. So I'm so very excited, to be able to have this conversation, just to kind of set you up. There are 3 jurors that we got. One of them was a deliberating juror. She is a juror that was a part of the deliberations in the room. And then we got 2 alternates, who were also a part of the trial, and obviously were notified at the end that they were going to be alternates. So we have 3 people joining us to talk about their experience, their stories. I have some questions. If you're in Patreon, then you were able to walk through some of the questions that, as we kind of pulled together what we wanted to ask, what we wanted to know. So that is what we sent over to the ladies. And so that's kind of what we'll be asking. But of course, you guys can chime in and we'll get to those as we can. But of course, shout out to the Patreon. And this is a Gen Pop live, which I don't typically do. As I said, I usually keep it to the Patreon. So thank them for being okay with the live today. Anyway, I'm very excited to have them. The last one we were waiting on, so I'm just going to give her a couple more minutes. And in the meantime, let me say shout out to the 10 gifted memberships. If you got a gifted membership, say thank you. I appreciate you, donating and becoming a member. And then Miss AB, who's always in the comments and in the chat, appreciate you. Shout out to Mel. It was through your recaps that got me up to date back in June, when I got pulled into watching because of the ex parte meeting. Well done, Mel. Got to show you some love. I appreciate it. Appreciate you watching. If you came from TikTok over to here, if you came from Instagram over to here, I appreciate you watching. And being on this ride, because it's been a ride. It's been a ride for us watching. So imagine the ride it's been for the actual jurors. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Give me a second. Let me just see what we looking like. Jurors, if you can hear me, if we're good to go, put a thumbs up. Or if you need a few seconds, I can wait still. Wait, I'm pretty sure you got me on the roller coaster from TikTok. Oh, here we go. Okay, cool. So we just need a couple more minutes. She's pulling in, and then we'll go live, guys. Send me the details on your couch. You know what? I don't even remember where I got that from. That's hilarious. I don't remember. I'll think about it. DM me on one of the platforms and I'll send it to you, because I don't even remember. Shout out to Lit K. Thanks for becoming a member. It's coming, y'all. It's coming. I promise. I promise. Shout out to Ashley. I call her Ash because we know each other in our heads. Like, subscribe, and become a member. Like the lives, y'all, or else my mods are going to yell. I can tell you guys the numbers while we wait. So we have number 387, which was a alternate. We have juror 508, which was an alternate. She was an alternate as well. And then we have juror 225, who was a deliberating juror. So those are the numbers. Pay attention to the numbers, because those are the numbers. Hey, from Smack. Shout out to Smack on TikTok. If you're not following Smack on TikTok, follow Smack on TikTok. Smack and his sweater is a good time. So thank you. Thank you, Smack, for directing everybody here. I appreciate you. I don't think I shouted out Thigh for gifting 5 memberships as well. Thank you. Appreciate you. I know it's been a long day. First of all, also, I missed it this morning because I was asleep because I live on the West Coast. So I missed the live reading of the verdict. My daughter came in to wake me up to get her ready for school. And as I was scrolling Twitter, I was like, a verdict? So I missed it. So for everybody who wanted to watch it with me, just know that I missed watching it live because I was asleep. I was so mad. The fact that I have been here this whole time and missed the verdict I woke up panicking. The other part of this, I promise I'm gonna get to it, but the other part of this is the day Glanville was recused, I had surgery. So the fact that I missed that because I was in and out of consciousness literally, and then I missed the verdict, so poetic for my life. The fact that I've been covering this from the beginning and that's what happens to me, girl, what a time. You want me to juror per the private chat? You want me to say that out loud? Follow these TikToks. Okay. And let me put a banner up. Oh, that's the other thing. Let me say that. So we're going to have the jurors come up, but if you want to follow the jurors on TikTok, okay, it's the Jurors Speak on TikTok and YouTube. And I'm going to put it in I'm going to do a banner. I don't usually do banners. Here's the other thing too. Let me say this. I'm going to put my Cash App in the banner as well. If you want to donate any money to the Cash App, I'm going to be giving it to the jurors. Y'all know they made $25 a day. Y'all already know how Fulton County plays. They made $25 a day. So if you should want to give any money to the Cash Apps, I am going to be screenshotting and sending them the total. And I'm not a thief, I promise. So I'll be sending them that money. So let me get this banner together. Oops. First of all, that's the example banner. Hold on. And then follow on TikTok. It's at the Jurors Speak, and YouTube. Also, I'm telling y'all, I don't typically do these. Okay. Let me make sure I got it right. Is Surviving YSL as the YouTube channel is golden. So good. And then Cash App. Let me put my Cash App in there. I don't even know what mine's is. Hold on. My Cash App is, oh, it's just my name. Okay. Cash App. Oh, just in the front. Okay. Is it working? Oh, show. Follow, YouTube, and then Cash App. Okay. I think we did it. All right, y'all. I think we good. Okay. I'm going to bring our jurors up. And you guys should feel so thankful because we're going to get some faces. Oh, want me to wait a second? Oh, okay. Okay. Here we go.
Getting her number.
Hello. It's all right. So we'll start though on the right, Boys in the Hood, 225.
I'm 225. I wore this for a reason today. This was my statement, T.
I can't wait to ask you about that. Okay, and then here in the middle, because I think the other one is to the right of you.
Well, she's on the other side, but it's okay.
Okay, so then to the left of 225 is 387.
Yep.
Right? There it is. Who was an alternate? Yep. Okay. And then 508, also an alternate. Yep. Okay. All right. So let's start from the beginning. How did you feel about being selected? What was and the information that you had about how long it was going to last? Let's start there, and y'all can jump in, or if you prefer me to like call out numbers, we can do that too. But for now, I guess we can just get into it.
Who wants to start?
We'll let Bobby start.
Okay.
Well, for me, how it felt to get
225.
Yeah, 225. 225. Hold on.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I was actually very surprised when I got selected because I had just participated in the grand jury at Fulton County. So I thought I couldn't get called again. And they called me for this. And the fact that they selected me, I was like, come on, man. Like, again. So I mean, I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised because honestly, I didn't really know much about Young Thug. And I had just moved to Fulton County a couple years before that. So I didn't know much about the county, the gangs, anything like that. But I just couldn't believe that I got called again because I had just got selected to be on the grand jury. So it was a shock for me.
You just moved to Fulton County, got selected for the grand jury, and then this one?
Well, yeah, not just. I think I was. When did we get picked? 2020. When did we get called? 2023.
Yeah.
2022. Yeah, I have been in Fulton County.
2022.
Yeah, so
summons.
Yeah.
Is when we made our first.
So in the summer of 2021,
Okay.
I think, is when I did grand jury. And I moved to Fulton County in 2020. So I had only been there a couple of years. Most of the time that I've been in Atlanta, I lived in Gwinnett County. So I had kind of bought a house, and then like all of a sudden I got all of these jury summons, and I had got selected to be on the grand jury. And then 6 months later, I got selected to be on this. And I just knew that it was going to like take me out, but apparently grand jury and this type of jury is different. So I got picked again.
You gotta move.
I mean, it's something about me. I mean, I like to think of it as a good thing. I don't know.
There you go. No, for sure. Okay, and then 508, how about you? How did you feel about getting selected?
I was like, me? They want me? They want ghetto tea? And this was like my very first time ever doing jury duty. So I was like, well, I know what's going on. I had so many questions going through my mind because I didn't want to make the wrong decisions. And then the only thing that was really going through my mind is like, I didn't know which case or, you know, what it would be. So I was like, these people's lives would literally be in my hands. So I was nervous.
Yeah.
Definitely was. But I put it on my chin and just went for what I knew.
Yeah. Yeah. And then 387, you want to tell us about how you felt about being selected? And when did you find out about the time frame? Which obviously was incorrect, being that it took longer. But like, tell us about that a little bit.
I think
we got our original summon, like we said, in 2022.
Right.
23, January 5th. I will never forget. Game Man was there all day. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't go back until like October. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then got selected November 1st. And I just knew there had to be a better option. I did not need to pick. You're not going to tell me all these people that came here and answer questions and you chose me? What is the hang up?
I think that as far as like the timeline for the 6 to 9 months, I think that some of us were told different stuff. But some people heard a year, some people heard 6 to 9 months. So I think it depends on like when you interview, who spoke to you. Because we were kind of all told different stuff because people were like a year. And I'm like, I heard a year.
Well, I know when I met in October, they told me 6 to 9.
They did definitely tell me that.
And I was like, October 26th. And I was like, okay, bet I can do that 6 to 9 months. It'll be over. I have my life back.
Mm-hmm. We're thinking end of summer.
And then be back. Kids go back to school. I'll be finished.
Right. No, right. Was not the case.
And just being selected was like drawn out for us, period. Like the selection part, we was just like the way they had it set up.
We had to call.
We was already in jail before we was in jail.
Yeah. So, after we went for our initial thing, which was crazy because I remember going in and being like, wait, I saw all of these cameras, all of these news cameras. And then you see all of the defendants sitting across from us. And I'm like, wait.
Like,
well, I didn't know what it was. Like, I had no idea what the trial was. And I was like, wait, I think this is like that big trial that they were talking about. Because I didn't know anything about Young Thug. Like, I'm one of the aunties. Like, his name wasn't mentioned. On the summons, it said Khalif Adams.
So that's right. At all.
trial it was. And then after we went through that initial thing, we had to start calling every single. They told us to call every day after 7 o'clock to see when we had to come back.
Every day.
Yeah.
Starting when you get the summons, like January up until the end when they actually select you.
Yes. Yeah,
that's why I said we was in jail before.
Yeah, and we were afraid, like, if you don't call, then you don't know when you're supposed to come back. If you're supposed to come back that day, and then you don't show up, then you might go to jail because you didn't show up. So, like, I had it like a reminder on my phone to call the number every day to see, like, if my number would come up that I had to come back. So, and then they ended up sending an email anyway saying, like, hey, you got to come back. You were selected. So we called all the time for nothing.
For no reason. Yeah. They didn't even email me. They called me. I was actually on the expressway on the way home from work. And it was like, my speak with such and such. And I was like, well, this is me. Well, can you be at court tomorrow? What I done did. It was like, well, this is pertaining to jury duty. And I was like, well, it's not like I got a choice. So, yeah, let me just get in contact with my job and let them know what's going on. And just went from there.
Wow. Okay, I want to get into the trial, but one more question based off of what you guys feel comfortable answering. But the fact that it took so long, and a lot of people, I mean, everybody was like, how much are they getting paid? Because this has got to be the financial impact of not being able to work because of your civic duty. Like, you don't have a choice. I have to be here. What is that like for y'all? Do y'all got the kind of jobs that pay you, or were you like, what is it like, the financial impact of being a juror for this trial? What is that?
Well, I mean, I can answer for myself. Like, luckily, thankfully, I have a job that actually paid me.
Amen.
I think that they are redoing their jury duty policy. Yes, because in the policy that as long as you have jury duty, you are being paid. I mean, obviously, there were still opportunities missed, opportunities for assessment. Like, we couldn't do outside jobs, you know. The cost of living is crazy, and most of us do more than one job, and like, we had to survive just off of what we could. But thankfully, like, my job paid me, but I still, you know, would have liked to be able to do an outside job or kind of go for promotions or something like that, which I wasn't able to because I wasn't there. So
and for me, luckily, my job did pay me, but some months, the job that I'm currently on, some months we have time where we have overtime out the roof. So being on jury duty, you know, it wasn't an opportunity for me to, you know, do overtime. So that was the bit much for me. And the $25 a day, that was gas
and food.
It
was only food. It was only the food at Fulton County. If you don't bring your own food, you don't spend $25 at the in the cafeteria or at the food trucks.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
387.
There was some hiccups for my employer in making that transition. I think mine was more so coming out of a personal situation into jury duty. There were some hiccups in how I got paid. My frequency was kind of off. It wasn't consistent like it would have been or anticipated to be. There were a couple of months where I did not get my normal income. So that kind of made me have to pivot. Or seek other opportunities outside of jury duty, because you're $25 a day, but like, I forfeited my bonus. I forfeited my pay increase. I forfeited my position because I wasn't enrolled, and mine is metric based. So I was a part of the few that had some financial hiccups over the trial.
Some of us had to relate to doing Instacart and and all that stuff for extra money because we couldn't get because court schedule was so unpredictable. It was so unpredictable that you can't even get a second job if you normally would have a second job, because we never knew when we would be done. So, you know,
it was a bit much.
It was a lot much.
I actually really appreciate you guys sharing that, because I think, you know, for a lot of us watching, what comes to mind is like the payment, the pay. But when you talk about missed opportunities, about advancement, when you talk about missed opportunities, about overtime, when you talk about all of, like, those are the other things that don't get accounted for in a trial this long. Like, there is time without, you know, away from your families. There's so much, but there also is these very tangible, impactful things to your life that you miss out on because you have to be on a jury for a year, which is
we
insane.
felt it. We definitely felt
We
it.
did.
What's with it?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, we're the only ones that were like parents of like school age kids. So
yeah,
we definitely felt it, I believe, more than some of the other jurors.
I mean, even like spring breaks, vacation, like did that kind of stuff line up with, you know, like the breaks were so sporadic and all over the
we
place.
did not get a spring break. Our kids had to spring break at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's crazy. Okay, let's move on to the chaos. Let's move on. Watching, there were some moments of hilarity. Okay, some of them witnesses were funny, and some of them where some of it is sad. Obviously, like these are real people's lives. People died literally, and so all of that kind of comes as we're watching. But for you guys, who was your like most memorable witness? And memorable can mean whatever you want it to mean. If it is the funniest one, if it is like the one that their testimony stuck out the most to you, like who comes to mind as like most memorable in 170 days?
Who you think?
Woody.
I'm about to say everybody's gonna say Woody, but that actually was not my answer. That wasn't my answer.
It was more so like I guess the center of everybody kind of favorites.
Mhm.
But for the most part, to be honest, I didn't have a favorite.
Mhm.
I really didn't. I was more so in tune. Like I said, it was my very first time trying to make sure that I crossed all my T's, dotted my I's, and just kind of stay focused. Because again, like you said, it is people that, family members that did die. It is people's lives that still online. So we still try to kind of stay to core.
Yeah.
And knew, what we was here for. So yeah.
Yeah. I definitely liked Woody, but I mean, I personally love seeing when Miss Latner's came in there with her ponytail and she gave us all of the sass. Miss Latner's was one of my favorites because she hated being in there and it was obvious. And,
As much as
and we loved it.
And she retired with us.
Yeah, she did. She made it very clear that we knew, like, I'm going to retire. So I feel like we builded a bond there because she was there so much.
Yeah.
I also really like the D'Angelo guy that kept saying, like, just send me back to jail. Like, that was very entertaining to me.
Yeah.
And then the Dexter Montgomery. Dexter Montgomery, the one that got shot in the head. Like, that was impactful to me. Because it was sad, but I think it was impactful in the way that the state didn't want it to, like, not the way that they thought it would be. Like, it was sad because I was thinking, like, he's coming in here to get justice and he doesn't even know that, like,
what's going on.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what's going on. So, that was really sad. Sometimes we joked about, we had one juror that, cried a lot. So we were like, oh, did you cry? Like, they did that for you because they know that you'd be in the front and you'd be crying. But I think that those two were kind of like my favorites. Well, the most memorable.
Yeah, got it.
I want to say, was it Archillian Bennett?
Oh, Bennett,
Bennett definitely stuck out to me, but it wasn't, it's kind of like what 225 said. It stuck out for the wrong reasons. I think a lot of emphasis got put into that about personal, or how people present it from a personal standpoint, that kind of was distracting from the case. I don't think it didn't build the rapport that they were looking for.
Right.
Interesting.
It kind of shed light to the fact of, y'all look kind of inhuman in certain situations, and that has nothing to do with what the facts are. Like, it should be fact-based, not my opinion. Most hold has nothing to do with what decision you want us to make. Present a case and kind of stick to it. I think her, Dexter Montgomery, was in that same bucket for me. And then it was somebody else, I can't remember their name. But it was more so like you brought people in to make it seem like the care was there, and that's not what I got from that message.
Yeah. I also did like Sumlin because I feel like he was kind of giving it back to them. Like, he was like one of the ones that was like kind of like, don't play with me. Like, don't talk like I'm a child. Like, so, at that point we were ready for somebody to kind of,
And you guys you're aware of what happened to Antonio Sumlin Moontunk afterward?
No.
So based off of his testimony, and I don't know if you guys tuned in, but the way that the questions began being asked was, here is your plea. And are you saying number one is true or false? Number two is true. She went through, and because he basically went back on a number of those factual acknowledgments that he had to say, he actually ended up, his probation was revoked. He ended up being sentenced 5 years. He's back in jail. Yep.
Oh, that's crazy.
That is
deep.
That's no, that's terrible because
He's
like
the only person that
right, and he.
Oh wait! I'm sorry. Wait. Hold on. I said I'm thinking Antonio Sledge. You said Sumlin.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Sledge, not Sumlin. I meant Sledge. Sledge.
Okay. I was like, I'm telling y'all wrong information because my mind was wrong.
Yeah, no, we knew who you were talking about. Yeah, move to.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's still crazy.
That's still crazy.
Yeah, because we knew. I mean, sitting in there, like when we hear the stuff, because we kind of picked up on what they were saying as far as like the plea deals and stuff. And me personally, I felt like people were just signing whatever to get out. So like because it sounded like he was going up there saying that he was trying to like tell his truth, kind of like Woody, like I'm trying to tell y'all what's real.
Yeah.
And y'all not listening to me. So to hear that he ended up having to go back to prison after that for trying to tell his truth is crazy.
And he also kept saying, well, I thought that I would have the opportunity to explain myself.
Right.
Yeah.
So like,
and that resonated with you guys. You guys felt like that was real.
Yeah. I definitely felt.
I mean, I did.
I mean, we can't speak for the rest though, but I definitely did.
Yeah. No, it's so interesting to hear that. And I wanted to say this and I forgot. So 508, I just want to acknowledge what you said, which is, and this is something I try to always keep top of mind as I cover any case that I cover. These are people's lives and there are real victims, right? And so on both sides, this matters. And so I never, even if I am being funny or saying whatever, that is never to be disrespectful or to discredit the families of victims. Like I want to make that very clear about who I am as a person and the platform that I have. I want to be very respectful of that. Obviously, we're having a conversation and, all of that, but that is never to take away from the seriousness of what this 170-day trial was. So anyway, I just wanted to call that out because I appreciated you saying that.
No, and I appreciate you just kind of, piggybacking off of it and letting the people know that you are not alone. I mean, I can speak for all three of us. We definitely kept that in the back of our heads.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Even being in there and seeing when they read the verdict, it was heartwarming to see the response of the defendants, but then also I could see from the Zoom camera the families that were leaving out.
Yeah.
And I just assumed that they were families of victims. And I know that like it's people hurting on one side, people happy on one side. So, it was never lost on us that there were actually people in there that were impacted on both sides of it. Right. And we want to be very sensitive to that.
100%. I want to kind of stay on the witnesses, the aspect of the witnesses. I am so curious because there was obviously gang, right? The allegation is that, YSL is this criminal street gang. Mm-hmm. And to support that idea, there were a lot of gang experts brought into this trial to testify. And I am so curious about how you guys as jurors received the gang experts. How did you receive their testimony? What do you think now about gang experts? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, for starters, I can say that currently today, all three of us, we are gang experts.
Hello.
Gang
and CSI experts. We're all kind of experts at this point.
That's on our resume now.
Yeah. Hey, man. Right. Sounds about right.
Right. For me, I just think that it just gave out information to the ones, I guess that was unsure what this mean or what that sign mean or what does this color represent or, help me out.
I mean, well, me personally, I mean, the gang detectives were so defensive that it turned me off to a lot of what they said because it came off as very biased. Like I wasn't here for the gang detectives because it was hard for me to take them serious because it was obvious that they were biased, and I get it that it's their job, but I wasn't here for the gang detectives, just to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it kind of shed light for what opportunities there really are for them to become or be considered experts. Mm-hmm. thinking about what gang culture is as a whole. Nobody knows anything about music ideology, or nobody knows the history of it, or nobody can explain what trends are. You're giving me a lot of opinion, fact-based information. Now, granted, you got a mixed crew of peers on this jury trial. Some of us have a musical background. Some of us kind of understand how certain conversations kind of work. We know when there's a difference between clout chasing and speaking to what it is that you particularly done. We understand what different phases are, what's a fad. And the fact that you brought people in who really don't have any level of experience and they can't speak to, but you're using that as a point of reference, it's very hard to connect to when you create doubt, right? And then just thinking about other things like 225 kind of said, the emotional responses. It's interesting to kind of see that as an expert, depending upon who asks the question determines your level of grace in answering the question.
Right.
So your professionalism becomes lack because it came from the defense. Like, we understand that the defense is going to look for holes and poke, but it should still remain unbiased in how you answer the question. So perception piece makes it really hard for the jury box, because is it a lack of credibility or is this an emotional response?
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm a mother. I'm not a lawyer, but I am a mother.
No, we're mothers too. We're mothers too.
They do what they want. No, that was good and so insightful, because I'm telling you, so many of us, I think, had the same opinions. I don't know if you guys were able to hear. I don't think you were, but one of the it was Gaither, Detective Gaither, when she was on the stand, she was saying things under her breath, and everybody
heard it.
We definitely
heard it. Yeah.
If we were in the room, we could hear.
Yeah, we could hear. And she sat right next to the microphone. Right next to the speaker.
Yeah, both of them can tell you I'm not a fan of hers. For me, it was personal for her. And it's fine that it's personal, because my personal opinion doesn't weigh the factor that I still have to have the evidence that's in front of me.
Yeah.
And that, to make an informed decision.
To make an informed decision, correct.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like when she came, I was just like, oh, she bad.
Yeah. We could, at least for me, because I kind of sat in the back. I couldn't pick up exactly what she was saying, but I'm smart enough to know that she's saying stuff under her breath, and she's saying smart stuff.
This dude.
Yep.
That's what she said.
She did.
I didn't even need to know exactly what she said to kind of pick up the context that she's like over there talking mess and under her breath, like, and all of that. And it definitely didn't. It didn't go over well with me.
And you can see, like, when
body language, like you said, exasperated.
Right.
Like it was an issue. Or your level of comfort with the prosecutors.
Right.
You even called her by her first name. We're in a professional setting, so why is that necessary?
But that was the second. That was
the first.
The second time she came was when she was saying stuff under the breath. The first time when she was like, "You acting like them boys didn't kill. These boys didn't kill that boy," or something like that. And I was
the first time when
innocent until before proven guilty. Like, but my thing is like what 387 said, like, your demeanor when the state came up, you was very pleasant, like everything was smooth sailing. And then once defense got up, it was just like,
attitude.
What? Huh? Come on. All right. I was like,
they know they did it. Wait a minute.
Right.
Yeah,
it was just like, okay, so, good thing that we had a jury that some of us didn't take heed to that and kind of jump on like, okay, well, she with the state, so I'm gonna be with the state. Or she with defense, I'm gonna be with defense. A good thing that it wasn't like that.
Good. Yeah. Stay neutral.
Staying neutral.
Yeah. So I want to go to Boys in the Hood. Well, I want to go to lyrics, but I just had to comment on you guys saying that you're now experts, because apparently, as long as you watch Boys in the Hood, you're an expert. What did you guys think about lyrics being used in this trial? And I would love to, even in asking, and 225, this may be specific to you, because in the deliberations, there was a question asked about music. And so generally speaking, how did you guys feel about the lyrics being used? But then 225, what did you think? What was happening when the request came out for the songs?
We'll let 225 be.
I mean, for me personally, I didn't care about the lyrics. Like, I mean, I grew up listening to Eminem. He killed his wife in like 5 songs. So, like, to me, it was art. Like, I can't necessarily say that somebody doing like what they say in their music is what they're actually doing. So, like, I didn't put much weight on the lyrics. But I will say that the reason why it was one particular juror that asked to hear the lyrics again, and it was more so because English ain't her first language, I don't think. She's from another country, and she said that she couldn't understand, like when they play the lyrics, she wanted to hear it one more time because she couldn't necessarily pick up what they were saying. So she just wanted to hear it one more time. But it was literally just one person that wanted to hear the lyrics. I think overall, with the jurors that were deliberating, the lyrics weren't really a thing.
Yeah, interesting because it seemed like the state relied on it so heavily, right? Like there really wasn't a ton. I mean, from looking, it didn't seem like there was a ton of evidence, but so they relied on what was said in songs to kind of complement the theory that they were putting across. And so for you guys not to really weigh them so heavily is fascinating.
If they go off of that, then it's so many people that would be in jail. So I think that might need to be the last thing that they need to consider when it comes to that. And I'm not saying that some of it may be true, some it may not be true. But I mean, if we listen to a lot of lyrics, it's a lot of rappers that's billionaires.
A lot of people
got a lot of money. And you know, and they be broke. So like we gotta pick a side, we gotta put it on the weighing scale. So for me, lyrics, then it didn't get me.
And okay, so the other thing that happened, there was a lot of police interviews and a lot of phone calls that were played, and they were very Atlanta. Okay, very Atlanta. Were y'all able to understand what was said on all of those calls, or did you guys get trained?
Some of us were.
A few.
Approval. We had down pat birds.
And I got damn in there.
Yeah. I mean, some of it sounded like they were talking between like crumpled pieces of paper on top of the accents. Yeah. So it was just hard to understand. I mean, they kind of ended up getting the technology together because at first, like, we literally just couldn't hear them. Like, the way that they had the sound set up, it was very difficult to hear. But even when they got it like to play, like there was I think 3 jurors that were like
had to move seats.
Well, no, that were like from other countries and stuff like that. So English wasn't their first language. So it don't matter how loud you play it. Like, and I'm not from Atlanta. I'm from Indiana, but I'm Black, and I still didn't know what they were saying half the time. And it got to a point where I honestly was just like, I mean, I'm tired of getting a headache sitting up here trying to figure out what it is that they're saying. Like,
yeah.
And there was a transcript one time, and then after that, like, we just had to figure it out.
But that kind of transcript was still like a hit miss because we had to decipher if it was really what they said on the transcript or wasn't it. So I was like, girl, that's it. Come here. Or, you know, what it was like. At this point, like I said, all of us are gang experts. So now you can do it. On our resume.
The interpreters, we're gang experts, we're crime scene investigators.
All of the above.
Crime scene techs. I'm sorry. Crime scene techs.
It's been a year worth.
We might be firearm experts.
Yeah, firearm experts.
Firearm experts.
Depending on the caliber, I might be able to get you.
I love it. I have a few chats over here. Let me just call them out before I kind of move to the next set of questions, just because I don't want to miss anything. So give me just a second to just call out a couple people. Galactus is being funny. They always say I should do merch. So that's a shout out for merch. Melanie is saying, are you ready to hear about the chaos y'all missed? What did you think about the long breaks, June until end of July? So there were so many late starts. There were so many half days when it came to Judge Glanville. It seemed chaotic for us. Did it feel that way for you guys?
Chaotic. I will say once we got the new judge, it was a lot better with the consistency. We were there at the same time, unless something happened and they need to switch it. But for the most part, we were there at the same time. We could expect to stay until the same time. With Glanville, every day was something different as far as our report times. Yeah. And when we were like out during that time in the summer, it was very frustrating, at least for me, because we had no idea. Like we'll get a message saying like, hey, you guys plan to be back tomorrow. And then we'll get another message saying, actually, not tomorrow, it's Thursday. And then Wednesday will come. They were like, actually, it's Friday, and then it's Monday. Like it wasn't like we knew that we were going to be out that long. It was kind of like a day by day, like we're just kind of waiting to see when we come back. And then come to find out we were out like 7 weeks or something. Like I could have had a whole vacation. I could have, but we couldn't do anything because we were kind of on call. Yeah. And every day they kind of just updated us as to whether or not we would come back the next day. So
and we couldn't really be around people. So it was like, I guess that's why we have became so close, because it's like, okay, we about to go over, 387 house and 225, and like it was
like kid birthday.
Yeah,
doing something.
Yeah. Right. So like we family now, guys.
We are family. We are family. I got some new juror nieces, and
I love it.
We got our furfews. So
this will be a good transition, because you mentioned that we were talking about the difference kind of between the judges, and Nikki is saying, what did you think when there suddenly was a new judge? And so you were talking about the 7-week break in the middle of trial. It's all of a sudden, hey, there's no trial. We'll let you know. And then you come back and there's a new judge. What is happening? What do you think when you come in? And
I mean,
who's like,
I personally thought maybe it was like a health thing, because we knew that Judge Glanville had that dog and stuff like that. So I mean, we had no idea, but like we joked that, oh, this is season 2. Like we just come in and it's like, this is a new season. There's a new judge. And then when we got there, like most of the defendants were gone. We're in season 3. So like, it was just, everything was so unpredictable and all of that to begin with. It was just kind of like, oh, of course, like something else done happened, and they're not telling us, because it seemed like it was a lot that was happening that we weren't being told about, or like I know some stuff we weren't supposed to know about, but some stuff it seemed like we should have known, and we were kind of out of the loop. So it was just another thing that like, we out of the loop. We just gotta come here and sit and take our notes and keep it pushing. So.
I mean, I also think it has something to play with how we started as well. Nothing has ever been clear and concise. So I know, even though for everybody else that's watching, it's like, how did you feel? We never had organization. Like it wasn't like going into work and getting your idea of what your job is.
Yeah.
So like you show up, you're a juror, meet us at this time on these days, and we'll tell you when something changes. It was like, oh, let's add an extra layer. Stay off of social media. Don't talk to your family and them. Don't watch the news. Then you wake up and get to work 2 weeks later, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I would like if y'all don't do this. So it's like you kind of don't have an expectation, because you're never given enough information.
Right. Yeah, we weren't given like a juror description of anything to expect or anything. So we were just kind of all going into it like blind. So it was just kind of like, all right, this is something different, and we got a new judge. So
tomorrow.
Right. We just got to show up and take our notes and keep it going.
Have you guys seen the clips of what happened when you guys were not there, but before Judge have you guys heard about the ex parte now? You know about the ex parte?
No.
Okay. So Woody, had a meeting, an ex parte meeting, meaning it was the judge, Woody being a witness, and then the state, the defendant, the defense was not there. That's why it's ex parte, meaning like one side. And so there's this big fuss about this, because the defendants are arguing that they have a right to be there. That is essentially what started the ball rolling on Glanville getting recused. Excuse me. He got recused. Oh, so he was recused. And it's actually not because of the meeting, but because after the defense attorneys filed motions to have him recused, he was supposed to send that off to another judge. He didn't. He just was like, I'm denying it. And so it became a problem, basically. Wow. That's a very condensed version. I have some recaps you can watch. But
that seems like a whole bunch of legal mumbo jumbo that it's kind of like.
But what is so interesting is that there's this really tense moment that happens between Brian Steele, Jeffrey Williams' attorney, and Glanville, where Glanville is saying, tell me how you found out about the ex parte. And Brian Steele is like, no. And so he's like, if you don't tell me, I'm going to hold you in contempt. And so Brian Steele ends up getting arrested. Basically, they don't put the handcuffs on him on the camera, but they take him to the back, and he is. It's like it's a whole moment you guys missed.
That sounds about right. Like
I went there. Like
I could. We were probably in the next room. We were probably in the next room. I mean, it's crazy though, because I can imagine that it's been a lot of crazy stuff. Because, like, to be honest, we could hear a lot of like heated conversations. Wow. We couldn't actually hear what they were saying, but we were really right outside of the courtroom. So, especially when Glanville was there, I mean, I think there was a couple times with the new judge that it seemed like they were like yelling, but we could actually hear that there was yelling. So I don't know if this happened like while we were in court or while we like when we weren't. But I mean, it's crazy. I shouldn't say this, but I mean, I guess I'm happy that it happened that way, because honestly, I thought maybe he was sick or something. Like, we always wonder why he had Jack. So I just thought that maybe it was like something medically that he had to go. So I mean,
that also has been longer than a year.
I mean, I
definitely get how many days we was actually in court, but we did 372 days of service.
Yeah, I think that the new judge definitely helped speed things along. Yeah. So, you know, while I mean,
it's unfortunate.
Goodbye and good riddance, Glanville, because we would have been there till this time next year.
Right. For real. Yeah.
I mean, the breaks, the comfort breaks.
Oh, the comfort breaks.
Yeah. No, we hated them comfort breaks.
Yes.
Because it'd be
225 hated the don't have to pee.
Oh, that was me. 225. I tell everybody in the juror, you ain't gotta go to the bathroom. We're not interrupting this. Go to the bathroom, because go back there. We're gonna be sitting back there for 2 hours.
Yeah,
because these comfort breaks turn into 2 hours. Y'all better hold it. We are adults.
I told 387. 225 is gonna bust us in the head.
And would if anybody acted like they couldn't hold it, because we are all adults. And y'all know once we get back there, we're gonna be sitting back there for hours. Don't ask to the bathroom.
We'll be back in 10 minutes, and it would be 2 hours, and we would be pissed. And I'm happy to know that we're pissed too.
We would literally be just sitting back there, man. I mean, it got to a point. I started doing puzzles back there, so like
puzzles, physical puzzles.
No, I did like jigsaw puzzles. Right. So that was how it passed the time.
It got so bad that 225 used to go home and I guess like Google puzzles and the little puzzles we used to do. Mm-hmm. Everybody just coming in.
Oh, you talking about the yeah. You're talking about the New York Times puzzles. We used to do like the New York Times puzzles as a group to just pass the time, because those comfort breaks were crazy with Glanville. But then when we got the new judge, when she said 9:00, we was ready. She was ready at 8:59. We like, wait a minute, we still got 1 minute. I'm still making my coffee.
It was. I might. People are saying I should show you guys the clip, because it's so perfect. It's so incredible. So I'll show it, but I'll ask this question as well, which is, so you go from Glanville to Whitaker, and you also are told from Whitaker, hey, don't worry about that. Also, I know y'all saw Woody testify, but forget what he said, because he gonna start again. Mm-hmm. And so forget all that. And I just walk me through what happens in your brain when you are
what you mean?
You are taking notes anyway, 387. So
start over. Wait a minute.
Yeah, we had to shred all of our notes that we had that was pertaining to him. And some people, oh my God,
had thesis statements.
Yes.
Front and back. I'm like, I mean, what was y'all writing?
Right. Some people wrote a lot. They took a lot of notes. It was more confusing because they were like, after this date, at this time, after lunch. I'm like, you think we take our notes like that? Like with like timestamps? Like, I don't know. Like, just take all of them. If you're gonna start over, just take it all.
Right. I was deep.
She lost me at the start over part. I was like, wait a minute. Because he talked for like a month.
He did. Yeah. It felt like a month.
Yeah. And it just seems so confusing to the point that you're making. Forget some of it. Don't forget some of it. He's going to come back. Like, it doesn't seem possible for us. We're like, it doesn't seem possible that you can split and like parse in your mind separate things. You don't remember what was said or you know? So anyway.
The timing of his was also a good thing though, because he was like right before the 7-week hiatus.
Yeah.
So it's like it'd have been different if he had talked for a month and then we was gone for the weekend and come back and you say erase.
Right.
We was also gone.
Yeah, we were
7
gone
weeks.
for a while. So I mean, it actually wasn't that hard to forget what he was saying because we had been out for so long.
7 weeks. So, some of us was out here applying for jobs, trying to start over, go somewhere. So like I had put that as this is over with. We ain't coming back. So,
right.
He got put a pin in it to the sides. So it wasn't too bad. I think only thing that kind of took me aback was like he could come back. What you mean?
Coming back.
I want to see the clip though, because I could definitely see Steele. I mean, some of us didn't like Steele as much as others, but
we got it. One of my questions is about you, the attorneys you liked in like impactful. So that's
some
really
of us thought Steele was long-winded and he was boring.
We're gonna wait.
I know. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just saying.
Oh, interesting.
We're not gonna say who felt that way. 387.
Still, I got you.
Right. Right. We had your back.
I think it's this one. Hold on. The video.
I was rushing out the house. I didn't bring y'all any drink.
Yes,
It's okay. I had my own stuff.
Yeah.
I know, but see, you brought us.
I only had 2 left, and that's all I got left. That's all I had.
Well, you know.
Okay, is this it?
I'm sorry. It's okay.
We're gonna talk about that later on.
Look, we done created a real bond over here. I'm sorry. We're okay. We're okay.
We are absolutely
Somebody
fine.
has a vape problem. Yeah. That came up during the trial, so
It did.
you in the bathroom? You know you got into it with over. Talking about I can. What is that? I smell
My vape.
Ooh, we did have some good times. We did. We kikied.
Sorry, I can't find a good because it's so the clip is so long. I'm trying to, I don't know the best part because it's just so good. It's like this moment that just builds because it goes from like, who told you? I don't know. I'm not telling you. Who told you? I don't know. Who told you? I don't know. And then, like it just
He's gonna come out that road.
it's such an insane thing. I may try to keep going to try to find the moment, but
We're
talking about
after the fact.
Please, it's so good. But talk to me about the attorneys, the most impactful, the ones that you really like, you felt like really resonated with you on both sides. I'd love to hear on both sides.
So the ones that stood out to me, like from the door, Adams. He was what? I was like, that's my uncle. He was just smooth, laid back. He got straight to the point. And it was just that. Of course, I'm a Steele fan. And I had to piggyback off of Bobby because Shard, he had to grow on me, but like
original fan
yeah, we were the original.
They were.
Shard fans.
They were.
Okay.
Like, oh my God, Shard is coming to the cookout. He is, and like he was definitely like, yeah.
What about on the state side?
You want me to go there?
Yes, please.
Yes, both sides.
Both
We
sides.
do. We do.
She asked both.
I don't care for love. It's just
Mm-hmm.
the point. I'm not a fan of hers. I felt like she took everything pretty much personal. It was more so I'm trying to save my face for whatever reason or whatever. I felt like she was trying to save her face for something.
Yeah.
And I think that she put a damper in this whole entire case. It was for her. I think if Hilton would have took lead, it would have been a lot better. Like I think I'll give my flowers to Hilton. And for the rest of them, they were just part of the team. They were part of the team. They were just there.
I mean, if I had to say on the state side. I like Atkins. Atkins is very
To the point.
To the point. And
Yeah.
it's not a lot of fluff. It's not a lot of like my personal opinion. It's like I asked you something and I can pull up the fact he knew how to use the computer better than his peers. So I was Team Atkins. I liked a body because he's very to the point. I did like Hilton. I mean, I don't have a problem with Hilton. I think we got really, really animated by the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I still could prefer her questioning over Love's. I really don't understand him going through a 3.5 hour interview to say I don't recall, but we're not gonna go to it. As far as the defense side, I was always Team Shard. From the gate.
She was
too.
I did like Weinstein.
Okay.
His peer is a very animated app.
Yeah.
So that was definitely something that I thought was funny. He had a nickname.
They gave all the attorneys.
All the attorneys had a nickname
because we didn't know their names. We didn't know names. So his name was Etch a Sketch because of his eyebrows.
Wait, who was it?
Apt.
My partner.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because we got names after the fact, so we're trying to keep up with people.
Got it.
I was a fan of. Oh my God!
Westmoreland.
She's watching the interview.
Westmoreland.
Can't even tell her to do this.
Yeah. You said Westmoreland. I love Westmoreland. That's what she just said.
Yes, Westmoreland. Yes.
Mr. Harvey is hilarious.
Hilarious.
But a person who cannot hear, he refuses to use the mic.
Yes.
And even D. Williams.
Yeah.
Hers it's different. Her approach is different.
Yeah.
It's definitely different. I think she's still working on it, but it still wasn't hard.
Who was the lady that came in with her towards the end?
I do not know.
I feel like her name was like Abate.
She was the truth.
Yeah, she was.
You understand? She understood the assignment.
Yeah, we only had her for like 2 seconds.
But she understood the assignment.
Yeah, she came in and she showed out.
Yes, she did.
She did.
Yeah. And my favorites, obviously, I like Shard. I had always been Team Shard from the beginning. And then on the state side, I mean, I actually didn't hate. I mean, I didn't hate Simone Hilton. I actually liked her. And then I know y'all didn't like him, but the young guy that I was only up there a few times with the mask, I found out his name today was Demetrius.
Smith.
Yeah. I actually liked his style because y'all talking about Atkins was to the point. He asked about 4 questions and then he was done. And I appreciated that. But that's what I appreciated.
No. There's a difference between to the point so that I can actually know what is going on versus if his was shorter than Cliff Notes.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it. I liked him.
Here you go. What's your name?
Right.
What's your profession?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you here?
Period.
No further questions.
Exactly. Let's move on because you're pointless anyway.
Yeah.
I cannot take it with
we can talk about deliberations in a second, but I think as you're going through this trial and paying attention and taking all your notes, what piece of evidence would you say was the most impactful in terms of, oh shoot, this is something to pay attention to, or impactful in the sense of them boys didn't do this? Like or both, if there's a piece of evidence that like really stuck out to you, or like that the state did a really good job in nailing, or the defense did a really good job in rebutting.
Sorry, my face. You want me to say?
Y'all want me to answer that?
Go ahead, 387.
387. I'll go first. The turning point in having a decision for me when it came to Shannon was bringing in the coroner and saying that the particular shot would prevent movement. Then taking the time out, because the very first time, even though I did not deliberate, the very first time you see the lights flash on the car post the drive off. In an abrupt U-turn, yo, I'm from Atlanta. I ain't turning around to hop to get on 20 when I'm this close.
Right.
to be this close means something popped out. Now you want to bring in the fact of the homeless, maybe or maybe not person that was walking. Most people own something. So to take that into
that
account,
area, we parked by them. So.
Right, like to take that into account, that didn't live heavy on me that person never stopped pace, but that never connected for me. Like it just never made sense, at least for him. On the other side, the granulated video.
You talking about for
Thomas?
For Donovan Thomas?
Yeah, for Donovan Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh yeah, I always
in my spirit,
I know exactly what she about
we've
to
been
say.
going back and forth with that vehicle in that shot. Like, that never sat right with me. Like, who you brought in as an expert? That's wild.
That was beyond wild.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah.
But to hear the conversation, for you to have somebody get up there and say that they sent the video off, to have the opportunity to raise the resolution on it, but you never clarified if the video we watched was a high resolution or not. Plus, I became an expert during this trial, but I ain't never been qualified to be one. 2 cars is not the same thing. You cannot convince me in my spirit that's not the case. How many times
you watch that video? Infinity. I'm not good with cars, but it definitely don't look like no Infinity to me.
Yeah.
I was like, well, what?
1 + 1, the whole trial, I would say in general, 1 + 1 = 11. It never got the 2.
I kept asking them, can I raise my hand and ask them what an Infinity is? Because I'm where is it? Am I loud, or y'all just calling me at this point? Y'all calling me slow.
Hello.
Like it was just it didn't
click for me.
It didn't click for me neither.
Interesting.
Like, but I can't ask them because we're not supposed to talk about it. But when we do, I might ask them, can we go on somebody's YouTube channel or something so y'all can show me what it's been towards? I know it was in the parking lot.
And those cars used to be at the Apex. We can't even drive one and by the courthouse real quick. Ain't no way.
Ain't no.
that is supposed to be that angle.
Right.
I wouldn't say, like, for me, when it came to the evidence from the state, the only thing that really kind of turned to think like, oh, they're innocent was, again, the Drinks murder. That third car that pulled up before the car did the U-turn, like the state completely like disregarded it initially when we saw the video. And I even brought it up to the state too, because we did have an opportunity to talk to the defense and the state attorney. We deliberated, and I was like, I mean, y'all completely acted like we just didn't see it. Like, do y'all think that we're like stupid? Like, I was almost insulted. Like, you guys didn't even bring up that this car even existed. The only thing that he had said was that, oh, that car did a U-turn, and I found that suspicious because they must have said something. But then you completely forget about the car that was right in front of it. Like, I didn't like that.
Or even piggybacking off of that, you can't search a car by model, but the search that you provided was white vehicle. To then find the car, because you knew what that tag was because of somewhere else. So you were able to solidify that, yes, that was the right car. But the initial search that you showed us showed white sedan. You could do color and body. Why couldn't you do color and body of that third vehicle?
Yep.
Like that never made sense.
Yeah, but most of it didn't make sense. Yeah. Most of it didn't make sense to us, so I can't say.
And another thing for me was the nut murder, Donovan Thomas. When they showed Yak being in the store, he was in the parking lot, he was by his car. It was like he was pretty much chilling. But on one of the footages from the camera, it was showing that, Mr. Thomas was by his car, like kind of, politicking with, the people that he was. So I was confused. I'm like, well, if they supposed to have some kind of beef, or if it's supposed to be like this uproar with these two sets of, gangs or people or whatever,
Why would I be posted?
Why would I be right? Why would I just be kind of like lollygagging around in the store and the parking lot and this car pulling up and I'm talking to them and they pulling off and like it just for me that didn't make sense. And then they was just so adamant about they was at the store for 30-45 minutes before whatever. So when was they gonna see them? Because they was how the camera footage was. It was like they pretty much could have saw everybody that was at the store.
Yeah.
So that didn't register for me.
Yeah.
So
it was a lot that didn't register. So that hence why we came to the conclusion that we did.
I'm curious about Doug Weinstein brought up this watch, this missing watch, Jeffrey Williams watch. And it even was asked about, there was a question asked in deliberations about it. And so I'm curious what you guys took away from the point he was making about the watch, and then 225, if you can talk about what's happening that made the question come out about the watch, made it be asked.
Well, y'all can talk about the watch in general first. Y'all can go ahead.
I mean, I think Weinstein shed light to the fact that the state or the powers that may be are not as detail oriented as they try to convey. Because if you actually took on all the different things, or you touched as many things, why wasn't it detailed? Like, you can detail how many pounds of weed you picked up, the money counter, the guns, the caliber, the serial number, but I would think juror would be equally as important since you touched it.
$500,000.
$500,000 watch. I'm never gonna forget that because Jesus.
But said it a few times.
But I feel like it just poked holes for inconsistency of how they retain information or how things are kind of like documented or put up or things like that. Weinstein had a very good habit of that though, like identifying inconsistencies and it not having to take a lot. The few questions that he brought up or he brings up, he might show like, hey, there's a gap here. Did anybody catch that? It's very clear and concise. That's why he was on my list.
He always He always took one for the team. Like, okay, if they throw me out, at least I got it in there. They heard me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it.
There was a couple times where
she
didn't let it fly, but he had already said it. And he just like more of the questions.
Sit down.
You're so right. He would.
Right. I pretty much just piggyback off what 387 said and 225. That was, how could you lose that? And then you was so adamant about, well, we just put it back on the shelf. You a damn lie. You ain't put that back on that shelf. I ain't saying you took it neither, but it gone. Where it said.
They keep asking about it, so it must not be there. We saw them go through all of the jury, and we didn't even know what that was. Like, he was pulling them out, and he was asking about specific stuff.
I wanted to say, you could just give it to me. Why would you drop this man jury on this? Why? This is not this Apple Watch, baby.
Right.
Those are diamonds. Yeah, it's like they didn't have a care in the world. They wanted who they wanted.
Is that how you felt? You felt like that? I mean, that's what the defense argued, and so to hear you feel like, that's essentially what happened. That's what you believe too.
They wanted who they wanted. Nobody else really cared. I think this whole case had something to do with Doug. That's who they wanted.
Yeah.
The little fishes to them. Okay. I mean, come on, y'all. I got you. But since collateral damage, since when I got you and I know you don't want to go to jail, so I'm gonna get you in this room and I'm gonna have you say, anything to try to make yourself free or set you free. I honestly feel like Doug didn't really have too much to do with, a lot of things that were thrown his way. I do believe that he did try to save those young guys' lives, and whatever they did or whatever they do, it still was at their discretion. It wasn't like, I felt like it wasn't like, he said, well, you got to do this for you to. No, I really think that he really tried to show them a different side.
Yeah, and just to answer about the watch for the deliberation side, that was a question on one of the jurors. They thought that Weinstein had said my clients watch, and I was like, we didn't say he didn't say my clients watched. He didn't say that. I was kind of the one like strong arming everybody, like, come on, get it together. Let's get these facts, because my 508 and my 387 wasn't in there with me, and I wasn't expecting it. So to kind of get them together, get everybody in line. But there was one person that was like, well, if he said my clients watched, then he must have been in the house, and if he was in the house, then give them the charges because or whatever. So we asked for clarification, even though like it was literally one juror and 11 jurors were like, no, he didn't say that. But we kind of made an agreement that if anybody had any questions that they needed clarity on and they wanted to ask, like that we will all like just agree to have it explained, even though we all knew the answer.
Juror questions send the public in a frenzy, okay, right? So we're like, what are they thinking? What does this matter? And so one of the theories was they were trying to get at if he said it was his client's watch, then that means that Diamante was staying at Thug's house, and so those charges he could catch, and that's essentially that's
exactly what it was. So you guys were right. Yeah, that one was right.
Tell us, okay, this for you, 225. When you go in to deliberate, well, first off, let's go to the alternates first. You find out you're not gonna be deliberating. Are you pissed off? How do you feel?
A little bit. Pissed because I'm 367 days past go. And I feel like I should have had my opportunity to have whatever fight I wanted to have.
No, she manifested that because she had been saying from the beginning. She always joked that she was gonna like when y'all deliberate.
Yeah. I mean, but I think also another piece of me just didn't have that kind of energy to want to have to kind of like deliver. Only because of understanding the dynamics of the room. Like we couldn't agree on lunch.
We could,
we couldn't agree on what kind of coffee we liked to bring into the deliberation room. Like we don't know if we want to celebrate everybody's birthday as a group or individual shots. So if like we're arguing about water, coffee, and lunch, I ain't got the patience to drag people. So because it would directly affect somebody else's livelihood, regardless of whatever the decision is.
Yeah.
A family's going to be upset if they don't find justice.
Right.
The person who didn't do it and end up behind jail and behind bars is going to feel some type of way because I genuinely didn't do it. It was no way that you was going to be able to appease everybody.
Correct.
To put me in a predicament where not only I have to have an opinion, protect my opinion, and then I gotta argue with people who can't pick coffee.
He was arguing the whole year with them same people. You didn't mind arguing with them a little bit more.
Yeah, arguing with people over coffee and just being a jackass is one thing.
We definitely the black sheep of the group.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I knew I was
the
not
three
missing.
amigos. They did not. They wasn't fooling with us.
I know that without a shadow of doubt, I was not missing that deliberation.
I was not missing.
Said, "Oh, we don't have 387 and 508. This will be easy." I said, "Hold up now, because we still got 225, and they still here in spirit, and I got my sisters back. It ain't going down this easy, y'all.
Not this season.
But I had y'all back. I let it be known too.
For me, it was like, damn,
Right.
I really wanted to be in there because what I assumed was it was a lot of people in there that really didn't understand. And it was more so they wasn't going off the evidence, that was going off of their personal opinions. And I just kept kind of telling people like, this is nothing personal. You can't go off your feelings. You have to go what was presented to us. And if it was presented to us, then it is what it is. But if it wasn't presented to us, that's not what it is. So I just need for y'all to kind of keep that in mind, because at the end of the day, if we go in and prosecute these people for something that wasn't presented to us, then I think that's kind of like fucked up. Excuse me for telling what it is, messed up or whatever. So
or seeing the reaction to understanding what not guilty is with
Correct.
no doubt.
Right.
Like to see how people receive that part of the puzzle is just like, oh hell no. We're gonna have to keep lifted in prayer because this is
Right.
ugly.
And me and 387, we was like, man, we left 227 by ourselves.
225.
225 by herself.
They did, but I'm wrong.
I was like,
I
she
held
got
it down.
hold
I
us
held
down, 225, hold us down.
Yeah.
So
I
like
did.
when we heard the verdict today, we was very, you know, just what we saw, you know. And again, I know it's people out here that's upset, you know, and may feel some type of way about the verdict, but again, we just went by what was presented to us, and it was absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 225, you guys go in the back. Do you take a vote first? Is there a first vote, and what are the numbers? I heard it was 10-2. Is that
no? Well, I mean, we went by every count. So 56. I'm sure you guys have seen 50 Cent, the foreman. He kind of was trying to organize everything. So we went by every count. We originally started with Yak's stuff because he had the least number of counts. So we started there, and I mean, I can't remember the numbers. If it was 10-2, it probably was 10 undecided because we had columns on the board: guilty, undecided, not guilty. I'm just going to say straight off the board, I was not guilty every time. And for every count, before we talked about it, like from what I saw, it was not enough for me to say that they were guilty. So I was one of the two that was not guilty right away. And then we just kind of worked through, because some people just kind of needed to go through the evidence some more.
Yeah, sure.
People just kind of wanted to hear other people's opinions. Some people didn't understand what the charge was. So, you know, I would read the indictment of what they're being charged. I would read the parts of the judge's instructions on like what we were supposed to, like how we were supposed to apply the law to them to try to really get them to understand it. And then, I mean, honestly, we just had a conversation. It did boil down to kind of being one person that was stuck on a couple of charges for Stillwell, which we could have had a verdict yesterday, but he was like, I just need to sleep on it. So we did end up, you know, having one person that was kind of like on the fence, but it was a couple intense moments, but then eventually, because I think it was more so people kind of were going with their like morally, they're like, I feel like they did this and it doesn't feel right to say that they're not guilty. And then there's other side of people like, what does the evidence say? There's no evidence. You can't say that somebody's guilty based on what you feel when they didn't present this. So, you know, that was kind of the dynamic in the room.
How was the conversations about the RICO charge specifically, right? Because that was one that, I mean, us watching had a lot of conversations about, because it felt like, I think for us in the evidence presented was that kind of, I think what you were saying, 508, it felt like crimes were being committed, but not necessarily on behalf of this like criminal street gang. Like it just felt like people was out here hustling because they had to get money, or they was mad at people because they slept with their girl, you know, like that's how it felt. So I'm just curious if that's how you guys felt, and then the conversation around that in the room.
Yeah, no, that was pretty much the consensus, because when we really read like what the actual indictment said and the instructions on like what the RICO, like the two subsections and what that actually meant and what the racketeering activities were and all of that stuff, like we kind of all agreed that, like, you know, I mean, like some people agree, yeah, they're a gang. But like, are they an enterprise? Were they doing this for like, was it this whole big organized thing, or was it just a bunch of people that were affiliated with each other doing individual stuff to take care of their families or to get revenge on whatever? So, I mean, honestly, I think that was probably the easiest count, because I don't think that anybody really looked at it and was just like, no, it didn't seem like a real big organized like enterprise to us. We didn't see any evidence that they were doing all this for money and for the status and all this stuff. So, I mean, we heard jail calls where they were asking for money for bail and stuff like that. And it's like, seemed like a lot of them didn't really have money. So I mean, I don't know, but that actually surprised me, and we actually saved that for last on both of the defendants because we thought that it was going to be the most difficult one, and then it ended up kind of being the easiest one. We're just like, interesting. And we looked at the overt acts, and most of the overt acts were Instagram pictures.
Yeah.
And some of them were crimes that some people already had done time for. But a lot of us kind of felt like I'm not about to put nobody in jail for like Instagram pictures, honestly. So that was the general consensus around the room.
So you guys are like so on with the people watching. I'm so fascinated because a lot of what you're saying is how a lot of people who watched felt. Like, are we really prosecuting people? Are they really facing so many years in jail for Instagram photos? And are you really proving, these big things that you're saying? That's how it goes.
That's because you have us. Now, if you had some of the other jurors, the conversation would have been totally different.
It would have been different.
It would have been different.
But again, it was more so because of like their own personal feelings. It wasn't because of the evidence or this is what they saw. So
a lot of people are asking, so I have to mention Viverito, which was the last witness. What did you?
Go ahead.
I apologize. What's the question?
You trying to make Atlanta come out? What's up?
I want it now, girl. No. What did you guys think about her testimony? About her being an expert? About the things that she looked at?
Bullshit. I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm asking. Go ahead.
I didn't. Let me let you finish. Go ahead.
I think we knew that she was the last witness
because her name kept coming up. Like,
we kind of knew that she was the last witness, so I was kind of expecting like fireworks and like, oh, this is gonna be like she about to bring it on home, and I might change my mind on some things,
sharpen eye pencils, like this is it, y'all. Like she been ready,
all together.
Yeah, right. I didn't think that anybody could get up there and be worse to me than Gaither was, like as far as the attitude. And then Viverito got up there, and I was like,
the investigator for Little Rod, when he said that he didn't even investigate, I was like,
that was the same one for the Charmel drinks, wasn't it?
Yes, that's why when they brought him back,
I
was like, what we bring him back for? He didn't even investigate Little Rod them, so I know, like, heck, he didn't invest. I want to talk to you.
Yeah, Viverito didn't impress anybody, and I felt like she it was kind of the same with all the other detectives. Like when it came up to the defense asking questions, and then it was all these explanations and like no, but
dance around. I can't answer your question unless I give you an explanation. You can definitely say yes or no.
Yeah,
it's really not that hard. Say yes or no.
Yeah,
but I think she tricked me out the most at giving an explanation of what a gang was, how Atlanta gangs are different.
They're hybrid.
But then
they don't have to have a leader.
There is no hierarchy. Bitch, why am I here?
Yeah, that like everybody was like,
wait a
minute. They don't have to have a leader. Like,
look, at this point, every juror in here, we in
closed notebook.
Right.
We ain't got no leader.
Close the notebook.
Yeah, she blew it.
She
blew it.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, we didn't really talk about like a lot of times, like because we couldn't talk about like what happened on the stand, but you can kind of pick up on people's like after the fact, and I think that either we were all just over it because we knew that this was the last person, or nobody was really feeling Viverito. It was just kind of like, girl, they could save that. Like we could have been done. We could have been done. I mean, it's bad. I don't know if I would rather have Belknap though with his PowerPoints and stuff.
No.
I don't want him. He was already emailing somebody on his computer. It looked like
no, that wasn't Belknap. That was Sprinkle.
That was
Sprinkle with the computer that was typing. We were like, okay, he had that computer up there.
Everybody that went on that stand had absolutely nothing but what the state gave to them in their
After
hand.
they asked to be presented,
That
and
part.
the defense looked at it,
Mhm.
and they wanted to compare it to the one that they got before they got there.
Mhm.
This man bringing a whole
Whole
laptop, his
laptop.
own recorder,
So
his own
yeah.
jump drive,
Yeah.
your own CD. Is this your trial?
And told us to hold on
While
while
I
he.
find it.
Mhm.
Well, wait a minute.
Those are things that the jurors definitely picked up on.
We
It was
did.
kind of like
I hit Control F to find a name to figure already. Hold on,
so that I don't have to
none of the-
finger through all the pictures. But you make those crime scene people go through 700 pictures.
They sure do.
and shoulders.
Right. And point out every defect.
Yeah, we were over the
Crime scene photos.
yes, especially the shell case. And like
I caught the picture that says you had 64 cases. I don't have to see every individual one up close.
you could just show me the last one that say 64.
That show me together.
I know it's
got you.
64 of them.
and 64.
I don't doubt that they shot a gun off and they hit all this stuff. I don't doubt it.
I don't.
Move.
Yeah.
There were a ton of, I mean, you guys were typically sent to the back, but a ton of like ethical issues in this case from the state. A lot of discovery that's not turned over, things that aren't notified to the defense in time. I mean, the witnesses were not prepped. So a lot of times they were saying things that they shouldn't have said in front of you guys. And it would be like, objection, emotion, you guys are sent out. And so I'm curious if you guys were aware of any of that, and or how there is a moment when Whitaker admonished and rebuked Love in front of you guys. I don't know if you guys remember that, but she said, "I am rebuked." No,
No,
What was the? I mean, it was so
What-
much. Like,
it
what
was.
happened that caused it?
So
do you know like what was the
what else
reasoning?
happened that day?
Right.
yeah. Let me even remember. Somebody in the chat, I'm sure, will remind me too. But it was what was happening that time? Love. I think she asked a question. Was it for Moontunk? It was Moontunk the Alford plea. That you're right. What happened is the way she had put across regarding a previous plea of Moontunk's was that he took a guilty plea, but it actually was an Alford plea. An Alford plea when you don't admit guilt, you're just saying it's not in my best interest to go to trial. And so she essentially lied, and you guys were excused, but behind closed doors, the argument, I think it was from Bruce Harvey, and he was like, she needs to be rebuked in front of the jury. Like the jurors need to know that what she did was wrong. And so you guys came back in, and Whitaker, it was a whole moment, but it sounds like it didn't land on y'all no way.
I mean, a lot of the legal stuff, it was like, I mean, we're not like lawyers, so it didn't really, like, if she said she was going to admonish her or rebuke her.
Yeah.
I mean, we had already kind of written off Love, at least for me personally, well before that. So like, it was just kind of like she done did something else.
She did something again.
Right.
They love.
Yeah.
For me, I just think like for her to be in her profession, and she wasn't professional at all. It was the
Yeah. We actually had to say something to one of the deputies. Like, it's very distracting.
It is.
The state making all of these facial expressions and sounds and stuff, because we were sitting closest to the state,
and I was closer than anybody. So I'm like, she got one more time.
It was very distracting to see their reactions and stuff. So I mean, I'm sorry. So like towards the end of the trial, like it was just kind of like, whatever. Even when they said when the whole like free Quay thing, and they were like, we already like, oh Lord, let's go. Like we got to the back, and we got back there like we already know that was in jail. Like, oh, come on, we already expected it. Like some of the times we have gotten hit to the point where we knew we was about to get sent to the back. Like, all right, y'all, let's get your blanket.
That's great.
How long is gonna be done?
Yeah. Based on the situation, we'd be like, they're gonna send us to lunch in a little bit. We ain't going back there. that seemed a little tense. They gonna send us to lunch, and then
or it get a little loud outside. We might be done for the day.
yeah, they might come and just tell us that we gonna go. So
Yeah, we're gonna go.
Curious about how you guys received your perception of closing arguments, and let's particularly start with Hilton's, because there was a lot of conversation online about her closing, and I'm just curious what you guys thought of it.
I do realize that common sense ain't that common by her definition. It was more animated than I anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the cleanest version I got. It was more animated than I ever anticipated for her. Because like at this point now, all of a sudden you from around the way and you talking with your hands and like, sis, you ain't did this whole trial. Yeah. Today don't be my sister.
Ain't even gonna play the music. Right. I said she been talking to Love all night.
Practicing in the mirror.
Right.
Like,
you ain't never acting like this.
But, okay, so that's especially why I'm asking, because I'm so curious how you guys, how did it feel when she, lost some of the professional tone that she had the whole time, and she kind of got with you a little bit, and how did that come across?
It came across for me, it's like, okay, she know they done fucked up, so she got to come and be the cleanup woman. And I'm probably gonna have to get on some of the jurors' level for them to maybe understand. I don't
try to be appealing.
Or try to be appealing to the eyes, because she knew it was over with.
That was offensive to me, to be honest. Like I was just like, is that how you're trying to appeal to me as a Black woman? Like my daughter is wanting to be an attorney. She's in college right now. She wants to go to law school. And I literally told her, like, look, if like you need to look up Hilton's closing, I can't send it to you, but look it up. And that's what you don't need to do, because we already kind of get this, reputation of being angry. And I get it that she was passionate, but like you said, it almost felt like she was trying to like relate to us. And it's like, I mean, we're professional and, and we're educated and stuff. And, we joking around now, but we are really professionals. Right. We are educated and stuff like that. And it's like, you don't have to, and like, we are the youngest Black women in there. So like, I felt like she had to have been kind of, if she was trying to appease to somebody, it had to have been us, because it wouldn't have been the 60-year-old Black women in there. And I'm like, girl, this ain't like, it's not hitting the way that you think it hit. But I also just felt like she was really like just kind of passionate and just trying to make her final plea. It just didn't land.
I mean, but also the timing of her presentation also just didn't, like, I feel like it was too many things not necessarily in her favor by the time we got to her. And then for it to be so animated. Like, could we take on different innuendos during different parts of the trial that kind of alluded to Hilton being from around the way? Absolutely. And she had moments and pockets where it'd be like, oh, okay, sis, you can put your degree down sometimes and you can talk with the best of them. That's cute. But you took 2 hours and 57 minutes to be from around the way. Like, ma'am, it's 7 o'clock. You got kids, I'm ready to go home. Like, yo.
It's over.
It's over, mama.
But you got to think who's before her.
Yeah.
I mean,
Juror just came. I'm talking about with Weinstein. So most definitely Weinstein. He came in. He did his big one for his client. He definitely did. He stayed true to his client. Shard, he gave it his blood, sweat, and tears. Like, without a doubt. And I feel like if Thug was there, I think still would have been the same way. We would have been in there for 6 hours. 3 days. 3 days. But he would have got it out. We would have had to spend the night. Go get it out.
Yeah.
But if, like, if my attorney ain't fighting for me like that.
I mean, but I feel like, but I can't say, even though we know who our favorites were and weren't, right? Even with the state, though, how Atkins started, I feel like it was clear and concise. I do understand his position. His was still more palatable than small.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like information based, consider the fact that your closing is your closing. It's not really evidence. So you still trying to wrap up and connect the dots that you presented over the last 372 days, right? Like you trying to keep us engaged from what we picked up and why these things are important. Like I still feel like she could have conveyed that message without being so far from herself.
Right. But there's a part of me that honestly feels like she's just doing her job. Like, you know, I can't fault her for doing her job. She doesn't pick the cases. At least I don't think she didn't pick the cases. She didn't investigate the cases. Like it was other people. And I feel like this is what was presented in front of her. Like, you got to try this case. And she was just like, okay, I got to do it. And I got to make the best out of it, even though it's like trash. So I tried not to like fault her because I honestly did really feel like she was doing her job. She was doing the best with what she had.
Yeah, I just felt like her animation. The animation is the only part that just didn't sit with me.
Yeah, like, what didn't sit well with me is the fact that Love didn't come in with us with the jurors one, because we met with a lot of the people from the state, the judge, the defense attorney. They all came in and asked us questions and talked to us and stuff, and Love didn't come in, and I was just like, well, she and her feelings, and that it speaks volumes to her professionalism. Like if you're supposed to be the lead on this case, and then for you to not even show in. Like Hilton came in, she was professional, she was smiling, she was pleasant. It seemed like she was taking the feedback that we was giving, and the fact that just didn't even care to even come in and say thank y'all for being up here listening to my voice for the last year. Like it was just kind of like, I can't respect that, but I can respect Hilton though.
It goes back to me saying that it was personal for her. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I know who we forgot about.
What? You would tell me.
We forgot about Brown.
Which Brown? Brown from the state?
Yes.
Someone I couldn't stand.
I couldn't stand him either.
No, y'all hated Brown.
The thing was, it wasn't even. So we're gonna quit using the word hate because we didn't hate him for real. It was just to me. I call him Baby Love.
Oh,
we can talk more about that on our channel when we get into the nitty. We can give y'all the nicknames that they gave to everybody. See how y'all want to know cockeyed is. Y'all want to know who Etch Sketch is. What your other nicknames?
Don't say it.
It was a bunch of nicknames that they had. I was sitting in the back, so I couldn't really see. So the nicknames, I didn't know who they were talking about because I couldn't see all.
You're telling the whole tale.
I'm just saying, y'all. If y'all want to hear,
all I know is I tried to make sure that if my notebook ever got picked up, couldn't nobody know unless they was in the room.
No, 387 notebook was full of shenanigans. That's what it was full of. It wasn't full of notes.
For context, I definitely took notes.
Barely.
It is nothing that you can ask me that I could not.
Yeah, she paid attention.
Oh no, she definitely paid attention. Yeah.
But Trish, ain't but so many times you can watch a video. I have to entertain myself the best way humanly possible.
And her notes were entertaining.
We talking about outfit, wardrobe fails, pickups, good looks, not good looks, people paying attention, folks going to sleep. Listen.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely have some unfiltered opinions that.
We'll keep it cute today.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it cute on Melanie's live. But if y'all know the real deal and how I almost went upside one of them jurors' heads a few times, head on over to the channel. They had to.
Absolutely. And let me say that because I have the banner scrolling, and so it is a great time to say, make sure you follow the Jurors Speak on TikTok, and then Surviving YSL, which is the best name on YouTube. That is their channel, and they're going to be spilling even more tea. This has been such a great conversation, but make sure you follow those. And also my Cash App is also scrolling, because if you give anything to the Cash App, it's all going to the jurors that we are so grateful to have joined us tonight. I sent you a private chat, and I want you to check it and respond before I do the thing I'm about to do. Yeah. Yes to the question. Yeah. Okay, and one more question.
Oh, okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
All right. So I see everybody in the chat saying that Kokomo was in here. So I just sent Kokomo, check your email. I just sent you the link to join and just be a part of the conversation. I know we've been here for an hour and a half now.
Sorry, we just been talking y'all ear off.
No. I was gonna say sorry. I appreciate it. Everybody's in here having a great time. You guys are not only like entertaining, right? Or not only like informative, but also entertaining. It just feels like a really good casual conversation, but also like giving us so much insight again, because we have been following this and wondering what the heck is in you guys' brains, and are you guys receiving it the way we are? Did we miss something? So it has been insanely informative. And let me just take a few. I sent it to Kokomo. I'm gonna look at some of these chats as well. Just to make sure I asked about Viverito. So if you're late to it, you're gonna have to go back and hear about that. Somebody's asking about the FedEx video. And we already talked about that because I think Shart pointed out the lights. I think 508 pointed out specifically that the medical examiner talking about, the ability to kind of hit the brakes and like, yeah, which is interesting. I think that landed on a lot of us as well.
I think people really wanted to know too why we asked for it in reverse.
Oh, yes.
Video in reverse. And I think because it was brought up that like people were saying that, after Shannon left the light, the car moved up. If you watch it in reverse, you can see the car move. You can see it move better like in reverse than if you watch it moving forward. So that's why it was asked to be played in reverse, to see if the car actually moved after Shannon went through the light, because that would have indicated that he could have possibly still been alive once Shannon passed the light. So that's why that was asked.
Got it. How was trying not to consume social media, because this started to be, especially after you go from all these defendants to 2, and it was like massive news, at least for the rest of us, that it was plea deals. Thug takes a plea. Was it hard to not consume, especially if you have children? How hard is it to not consume content related to this and like get information? Was it extremely challenging?
For me, with 387 particularly, yes, I have a daughter, but she's not old enough to be on social media. So she's not really a contributing factor for me to have to be there. And then coming from the profession that I did, social media for the most part, when I did jump in, was things that I cared about. So home decor, clothing, maybe things like that. So like over the course of the trial, it was easier for me not to see anything. I really didn't see anything. I did get, we all know, because I did find out where I've been contacted or someone has said something or made mention of me by number, and those closest to me kind of knew what my situation was, so it was easier for them to put together my number by situation. Now in those instances, like I have younger siblings, but we had that conversation kind of early on. What you see, keep it to us is something that jeopardizes my daughter's safety. If it had nothing to do with her, I really didn't care. I mean, I'm sitting in jail, ain't nothing I could do about it. Like, like I didn't really care enough, and then I don't watch this on a normal day anyway.
Right.
Okay.
Because of the way algorithms work, like we weren't actually told that we couldn't use social media. They just said to like stay away from anything regarding this case. So like, I mean, we all know how algorithms work. Like my algorithm is full of DIY stuff and dog videos on TikTok, and I don't have Instagram, I don't have Facebook, all of that stuff. So like, if you don't go out and search it, I'm sure because you provide this type of content, you're fed more of it. Like, and it's not like I'm a social worker. I don't go home after work and look up social work videos. So like once the trial and stuff was over, like we don't want to hear nothing about none of this other stuff. Like we've been there all day. I'm about to go home and dog videos or figure out how to build a fireplace. Like
half of us don't go home and watch
TV. Right. And she doesn't even watch TV because she don't want to hear nobody talking no more after court. So she was like, how do y'all go home and watch TV? And my daughter's in college, and like I said, she wants to study law. So she completely understands like that I'm not supposed to be like what's going on. So she didn't talk to me about anything. Like my mom said she's watching me on live. I didn't even tell her that I was on here. Apparently she been following me.
Hey, mama.
Like, it wasn't hard for us to like not be on here and be in there and all the information.
And for me, my kids are younger too. My daughter, she plays basketball. So a lot of times that we was getting out of court, I was going to a basketball game. I was going to the school. You know, I was being mommy. So it was a lot of times that getting on the internet or pulling up whatever, it really didn't suit my schedule. I only go home, go to sleep, think about having a drink, because I can't get up in the morning because I'm gonna be.
Oh no, we had
I said think about it.
No,
we didn't think about having a drink.
When we had court, we didn't drink.
I'm talking about the nights. Maybe it was a week.
No. We did. Me and her, we FaceTime. And I had some Ciroc.
Apple, a whole bottle that she was drinking out of. So I mean, but sometimes it's the days, and it wasn't even really the court. For me, it was some of the jurors that just make me just like go home and be like, woo!
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm in jail today because I was this close.
What you gonna have me in the chokehold?
In the chokehold.
Wait, let me pull up Mr. Kokomo.
Yo,
Oh my God. We can finally say hey.
That's what I told him earlier. I was like, we'll see you all the time in food trucks and stuff. We couldn't speak. Now
y'all have made me so like I've never like kind of like been so shocked to be in the situation. And Mel, I was like, yo, I'm not doing any podcasts or any interviews, but I said if I'm not a lawyer, brings me on a podcast, I will hop on this. I will gladly hop on.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, y'all have been amazing, man. Y'all, I don't know what to say. Like I've kind of been shaking this whole day. So honestly, I just kind of like wanted to, say what's up to y'all. Y'all are amazing, man. Like talking to you on the right, like I didn't even get but I don't even remember your juror number, but yo, 25. 25, man. 25. Thank you so much. Like y'all were so well spoken. Y'all were like surprisingly how y'all kept up with everything going on. I mean, I don't want to say I had a hard job, but I kind of.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't really know what Kokomo did other than pull up the video.
Yeah.
To be honest, more than that, but
so
react a couple of things.
Here for two people who visibly don't know nothing about computers. That's stressful.
That's true.
We felt for you, Kokomo.
A lot of times.
It was plenty of times when you came up to the food truck, I wanted to say, boy, let me buy you something to eat. It was a little shaky at the beginning. I remember it was a couple times you went up there to show
I wasn't doing that good, huh?
And we like, dude, we can see that. Now, you got it together. So we're proud of you too.
I'm just like y'all, I'm very new to this trial, man. New to this trial lifestyle. Now that I could say, like, I think getting to like view y'all and how like y'all like how y'all reacted and how y'all been there for us day by day. I mean, like I'm honestly so shocked. Mel, you too, like how you've literally been there since day one. Like I remember, I think like the first couple of days I saw like your post and I sent you like a DM on TikTok or something. Like, yo, we love you. You're amazing. Like I barely know some of the law, and I'm like, yo, she's actually teaching me something I don't know. So,
thank you. To know something, go to TikTok.
Yeah.
University.
Every time.
Yeah.
Go to Melanie.
Kokomo, you have to tell us your official title though, because to that point, I always saw you, but like, what was your official title in the trial?
So at first, and I didn't have like a real title on the trial. Max, I've known Max, one of the greatest attorneys like I've ever like been around and everything. Like I knew Max, I knew I wanted to be a lawyer since I was like 17. So I've always did everything in my power to be in that position. So I interned under Max, and during this time he was a public defender, and he was back to back winning cases, getting stars and everything. And I was like, yo, this guy is badass. So since then I kind of kept in touch. I went to undergrad and I graduated, and as soon as I graduated I got a job at this private law firm. and as a legal assistant. And then Max called me and said, "Hey, we were working on this YSL trial. Brian and me and like all the attorneys, we just need someone just to be there." And ever since then, I kind of was like the hands-on, whatever I can get my hands on, whatever I can do, I'm with, like, you know. And I was working with Brian, and then eventually I came and started like finished up with Max. So working with both of them. And honestly, I worked with everybody. Like, yo, whatever whatever any attorney needed, that was my job.
I think
at first we thought you were with
Steel.
Yeah.
And then we realized you kind of like bounced. So I was like, okay, so he just helped everybody.
So
you almost caused a little tear come out of me today. I'm just gonna be honest, because when we read the verdict, it was emotional for me, and then to see the responses of these Black men and to see you, because I know you've been there with them. See how like you just look full and like emotional and all that, and it really did something to me. And then on the flip side, seeing like people leaving out of the court, because I know they were feeling emotional maybe on the other side. Like, it was a lot of emotions, but I definitely was paying attention to you as well, because like, you a Black man, you've been here with these men, so it was good to see you being there to support them and see that you seem to be genuinely happy for like the outcomes for your clients.
I have created a huge relationship. I'm talking about with all the defendants, all the attorneys. I don't know. I cried because honestly, like, all this like hard, like getting up, being up till 3 a.m. in the morning, making sure all these things are filed, all these things are turned in, all these things are organized. I mean, like it's like one of those things where you look back and you're like, damn, all this time, all this hard work, everything kind of paid off. So
pat yourself on the back, big guy.
Love. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are amazing.
So Cole, come on, I got a question for you.
Talk.
I was just playing. So, how did you view us like as jurors on Sunday? Were we like, I don't know what they thinking or what's going on with the kid?
Are they asleep and not paying attention?
Okay,
I would probably
we were not asleep.
So I didn't want to make too much eye contact with the jurors, because I just honestly didn't know whether the eye contact I'm making is gonna like throw y'all off. Like, y'all are gonna pay attention a little bit, so, like not pay attention, but kind of like take the wrong message by me looking at y'all.
We paid attention to everything.
So honestly, it's crazy to say y'all all didn't have a certain like poker. Like, I just couldn't tell how y'all all felt. Like, I was looking at y'all one time, and like I was just like, yo, I can't tell who is like feeling the struggle that we're going through right now, who's actually like engaged in what's going on right now. Like, I couldn't tell. Like, there were some investigators where I would look at you and I'd get like a message from Brian and saying like, hey, what are the jurors like? How do you feel that? Like, how do they look? And I mean, Mr. Steele's main thing was y'all. Like, y'all, like, that was like the main question was, hey, Shaq, how the juror, like, he would ask me to evaluate y'all, and I'm just like, oh, well, you know, I can't really give you an answer to how they actually
would have got lunch at the food truck.
Yeah, it was
happy when I saw him outside.
There was one time I think I opened the door for the juror, Brian. So, you know, I was being kind of nice. I don't know how they feel.
You did. That was you. It was me.
I think it was one of y'all. I think I opened the door for y'all and just like, yeah. So honestly, it was like I couldn't tell how y'all felt, but I felt like, I mean, y'all did a great job, like, all in all, just like being focused.
We got in trouble a little bit at the beginning. Remember they told us that we had to like kind of keep it together, because I think people were kind of showing too much emotions on their face towards the beginning. So we kind of got a little talking to from the deputies, but I think we did better.
I think 387 kept a pretty solid face.
It's because you was asleep. It was.
Y'all know I kept. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you did. That's the face that you kept, and I was in the back in the corner, so I don't feel like nobody could see
What?
me.
All y'all had y'all like blankets in the corner, just
It was
you,
cold.
especially 508. 508. Hey, 508.
I
I ain't gonna say no names. I'm gonna say some
You
numbers.
finna say me.
Listen,
508.
What about it?
You
The
a
blanket
little
Hold on, 387. What about it?
You a little blanky comfy in the corner sometimes. I was
The
like,
day started going.
And don't forget my heater.
Right. Don't forget
yeah, a
about
little heater in the side. Yo,
Did you have a heater?
I
Oh,
did.
She
the
had
whole
space.
the whole package.
She said y'all didn't hear it. It was loud. It was loud. It sounded like a motorcycle when she was turning it on. But it was okay because I was cold all the time too, so I understood. Some of the other
Yeah.
hot-natured jurors didn't
let me
really
say.
appreciate it, but I was there for it because I
When
was
they-
cold
She
too.
got a lawnmower running the whole trial.
Oh, baby, let me tell you. When they got on my nerve, go get my heater.
Right on. Turn it on. And
I'm
she got
turning
it
my
from
heater
one of the court reporters. So that's like
Mm.
D. Williams sitting up there with gloves and stuff.
Yeah.
Cold in there.
It was cold.
In the peak
Kokomo, you wasn't cold?
Oh no, I was freezing. Don't get me
Okay.
wrong. Don't. I was freezing. That courtroom did not lack any. Like, man,
Not one day.
I tried my best to like keep my blanket like over my lap, but like after a while, that thing got going all the way up here.
yeah.
I'm like, dude, y'all want me to write notes? It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
I can see my breath in here.
Okay, and so being one of the first trials, so like little side mission me and Keith had, but during our trial, Keith hired me on the side, and Keith wanted like if I could mix being an attorney like somebody, I think being like Keith, the swag, I come up here, I can stand here and like the energy, the ability to smile and still be serious at the same time and get your message across. Yeah. I loved how Keith like argued. But I was lucky to have Keith pull me to the side, and me and him actually tried another case in the middle of ours. It was a murder trial.
Oh, you had time.
Yeah, and we won. So I was like,
I'm not know your butt video.
Yeah, it was one of these little secrets we kind of just snuck off to the side. Mm-hmm. So I that was a 1-0 moment for me, like as like being on trial. So this is like my second trial, and I'm counting this as a 2-0, like huge win. How do y'all feel like, how much shorter, with all the defendants still being there, could the trial had been in y'all's opinion?
It still would have been a year.
You said how much shorter could it have been?
Yeah, how much more could they have condensed everything that they were saying? You know, we've been there already for a year. So, in y'all's opinion, through the evidence that's been brought, through the way the prosecution was arguing, like how much shorter do you think it could have been, where, you know, you would have had maybe a little different outcome or viewed it a little bit different?
If everybody was still there. I would say if Whitaker, right? If she was
if Whitaker was the presiding judge, yes.
If she was there from the beginning.
Wait, so is he saying if she was from the beginning, how long how short do we think it could have been? If they could have been all of the nonsense.
But we would have all of the
all the defendants.
We would have kept all the defendants. We would have had Whitaker.
Minus a lot of the bull.
I mean, they had it come with her.
I think it would have been 6 months. Maybe 6 to 9.
Nah,
6 to 9 months. Okay.
Only reason I still think it still would have been 9 to 12. Only because
what if we wouldn't let that bullshit come in?
How you gonna shut still down?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It depends on how long still.
The same way she shut love ass down. Quit playing.
We need to be able to go back and ask questions.
She did, but if it was bullshit, she wasn't allowed to come in.
Listen.
We wouldn't even go meet it. It wouldn't even come to the table.
It still would have been 4 more brothers.
My auntie ain't gonna let
to come up there. But
that's
what I'm saying.
That's T.T. Whitaker.
Auntie now.
T.T. Whitaker. Okay.
But I'm just thinking, if all of the guys are still on trial, and even if she started with her 9 to 5, 9 to 6, no extended vacations, even if she could have got love to stay as low as humanly possible, the wild card is still in my heart, because I know for a fact that man would have found 40 people to disprove every witness we seen on the state side.
Oh, I forgot.
Mhm.
I forgot that he did have to kind of.
Yeah, he would have had to prove his case.
But
right?
that we went off of if she would have started.
That's what I'm saying.
So a lot of you got to think like even when it came down to Slug, he wouldn't have been that long. Bean wouldn't have been that long. So that's what I'm saying. Like they with those.
Wait, did y'all already ask about Woody?
Huh?
Did y'all already ask about Woody?
We talked about it.
Okay. I must have missed it. I did want to hear how y'all felt about Woody. That was kind of.
It was crazy. Hold on. I just want to call this out because, first of all, shout out to everybody sending the cash apps because we're going to give y'all the cash apps after this and they are coming in. But apparently, I reached the max on the cash app. I didn't even know there was a max you could reach on Cash App. So I just updated to Venmo. If you want to continue sending, I promise y'all, I'm an honest person. They are going to get every single dime that y'all are sending. So I switched it to
our
Venmo.
children appreciate it.
Amen. Amen. Listen, they was getting $25 a day for a whole year. So if y'all want to keep sending, I just updated it in the ticker. So send there and we gonna send it. All right, keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
but you were saying about Woody is crazy.
Yeah, like how did y'all feel about Woody as a witness? How do you feel like was it somebody the state should have called, or was it a breath of fresh air? Like just okay, well.
I personally ain't have no problem. I think I might have been the only person that honestly, genuinely felt like Woody was telling the truth on the stand.
No,
he was lying during the interrogation.
I definitely felt like he was telling the truth when he got there.
But
when he was on stand.
But if he had it or not. Because technically we didn't have it to make a decision.
It wouldn't have, but it wasn't going to change my opinion because it wasn't no evidence. So even with them bringing him, it didn't do shit.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I don't see what his purpose was.
They wanted to make themselves look like a fucking ass. They got, and they needed somebody to.
I mean, they had already done that, but I don't see what his value is. I don't. And then to get to a point to do that for like a month. And then for her to be like, everything he said is null and void, give me your notes.
But if they hadn't like scratched it and we had to go by like his interrogations, what he said to the police, like I think that seeing what he said to the police and then seeing how he presented on the stand, like to me it was different. I felt genuine. Like when he was talking about how he gave his life to the Lord, and when he was talking about God, I honestly felt that. Like, and some of the other jurors that are a little bit more holy to me, like I love the Lord, but they're a little bit more holy than me. And they kind of smack their lips at it. Like people can't change their lives and can't love God.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Lifestyles. So, but that was something that did resonate with me. So, I mean, I thought that it was helpful because I genuinely believed him. Shout out to Woody.
And it definitely shout out to Woody. It made me feel as if, like sometimes when people, go to jail and they're trying to charge them for a crime, and basically back what I said earlier, when you don't want the small fish, you want the big fish. So I'm gonna go in there and say, "Oh, okay, what you want? You want me to tell you this? Okay, yeah.
So technically, the state stuff kind of backfired on them.
It definitely did.
Most of the stuff that they did backfired.
It definitely.
Like I just don't feel like it didn't hold the weight they were looking for it to hold. Yeah. Like I don't want anybody to think I'm discrediting Woody. It's not that. Like I do feel like there's a change. He's grown. You've gotten older. You realize what it is to be present because he made mention of his daughter. Like I feel like life, right? You're talking about a bunch of men, right? That were boys, that were definitely children. They don't have any kind of positive influence. You don't hear them talk about what their father influence was, what kind of influence you have with your mother, the neighborhood boys, and shooting the shit. So for me to expect you to do something spectacular in that is to me asinine. Like that's not gonna happen. Now you get an opportunity, your lifestyle kind of changes, and you try to include who you grew up with. Some people caught on, other people kind of fucked up. You sent them home. Okay, fine. Now you talking about 9-10 years later.
Oh,
some people, you know what I'm saying? Like these things happen, and I don't discredit that. But am I who I was 9 years ago? Am I the same person I was 2 years ago before this trial?
I need a break.
What? You know, so I feel like there are definitely highs and lows in what it was, but it didn't solidify anything of relevance for the case for me.
If anything, for me, it made it feel like he, like when they showed like the timelines and stuff, like because they presented Woody in front of us, like we had like a face to the name and stuff like that and the personality. Like it seemed to me like Woody was in that. Woody, like y'all trying to say that this was. It seemed all this had Woody. Like what
Woody
you
had a
mean?
hand in all of this.
Woody had like this seemed like it was Woody, not
So
the
why
rest
you
of these
give him a
people.
plea? How he
Like
get
to
out?
me, if Woody, because some of the people that they talked about, like because we didn't know who they were, like they weren't on trial and they weren't like in our face, like it just seemed like another name. So, but because I could connect Woody, I saw him, I know he, like I saw his personality, and I'm looking at all of this stuff, and it's like,
yeah,
he the one, but
he ain't no contributor. Like
right.
It's looking like he the one.
honestly, finding like the video of Woody, the homicide video. Like I think when I was going through all the when I was going through the stuff,
video, Kokomo,
Kokomo, you see, he had that
hold on. Wait. Kokomo, you found that video?
Look, there was a
person.
We were all kind of put in together where we were trying to like pinpoint a lot of things, and I'm not gonna say I have all the credit when it comes to the behind the scenes work. There's Brian still had a wonderful legal assistant, Bram Mansback, Courtney Edwards, and they were great when it came to like bringing everything together. There was a time where Brian didn't kind of like, we were looking at this stuff and like we go through the video and I'm like, damn, that kind of looks like a representation of somebody we kind of we know on this thing. And you know, they're trying to say these music videos, you know, and I was as shocked as like everybody kind of seeing it for that first time. Like, damn, this is out. This is, you know, this is something that's been out since 2019, 2020. So that was kind of a shocker. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know that, but that was definitely something that stood out, like that video, because it definitely created doubt. At least for me, as far as what the actual like the state's theory. So shout out to you.
How and I don't know if y'all already talked about the other defendants, like maybe Nichols. I don't know. Like, how do y'all feel it would have went if we had everybody still there? Like, were we like, you know, we can't go back in time, and they all got great offers. I mean, like this whole process played out well. Like how would y'all have felt if, you know, we had all these people still here, you know?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I know we did get better insight about Rod borderline at the end, right? Little Rod.
Yeah, because we all were wondering, like, why is he in there?
Could never really figure out why was he here.
Okay.
When you have things like Qua that they said wrong the whole time. I don't like his name never really got mentioned, so I didn't understand.
Wait, which Qua? Nichols, not the Matthewses.
Right. So I didn't feel too particularly comfortable with him because I didn't understand. I recall Harvey telling us early on that he wasn't doing his opening for him until we got closer to the things that were relevant to him. So he didn't have a space per se with me because I didn't really understand why he was here. I mean, I like how he dressed on a regular basis, but I couldn't tell you nothing past that.
Yeah.
His turtlenecks were
the turtle. Yeah, he loved the turtleneck. It was cold. It was cold in there.
They were a hit with the jurors.
It was like it was still a look.
Yeah.
Cool. And then when you think about Matthews, right? Granted, his client comes up because they went and got barbecue. His client comes up because he kind of peeked in and out and like something else. I can't remember the specifics right now, but he kind of popped up. So it was like I didn't really understand how they held weight. Like the way the state presented the story just never made sense. Like it would have been better if you gave us the umbrella part to understand how.
And that's what I told them when we met with them. I told the state that their story, like they just didn't do a good job with telling the story because none of it made sense. Like to me, with the other defendants that were there, like I kind of feel like you feel like I feel like we heard more about people that weren't in the actual thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if we wouldn't have gotten not guilty charges for everybody. because like thinking back on it, like the stuff with like Nichols and like the other people that were in there, to be honest, like I can't necessarily remember much about like the counts and stuff that they were involved in, because it seemed like we heard so much about other people that weren't actually in the courtroom that they kind of almost like slipped in the back, and it was kind of like, you know, whatever. So
nice. Any question?
Sorry, I just want to say I was putting up the super chat. Jimmy, there's so many super chats. I'm so sorry. I was trying to get to them, but this one just got answered. So I'm grateful. That was a good question. But you kind of answered it.
Well, for Thug, I will say though, like another thing that goes into whether or not we would consider them guilty or innocent, a problem was that we didn't have an indictment with us. So a lot of times, like, we didn't know what their charges were. And I remember asking at the very beginning, like, can we have a copy of the indictment? And they were like, no, because y'all would automatically consider them boys guilty if y'all saw the indictment. That's what one of the deputies told us. But like, we didn't even know the charges. We didn't know the charges until like literally getting the charges in the deliberation room. So yeah, it would have. I didn't even know in closing like what they were being charged with. Like
closing, I think about how we started. Right, first of all, that first night and thinking I was going to remember what 230 something stuff. Yeah, like that was crazy. Like that was the first time we heard all the charges. Mm-hmm. Right, that was the longest day ever because we left at like 8. Mm-hmm. Right. And then to get to the trial, we're asking the questions of, well, can we just see the charges so they're refreshed? Right. Or at least be able to categorize what should stand out to me. We never, so that was a no. And then for 508 and myself, we're alternates. I've never seen the indictment. So the only time I see charges again is when they do the breakdown and say who Quay has. What's his name? God damn it.
Stewart or
Huey.
You know, Yak got his charges, Shannon got his charges, and this is what they have in common. And I'm like, if I would have had this, it'd have been easier to draw a map. Like even you tell children to do a context map, like how you want me to keep up with stuff. And you don't even give me a refresher to say what it is that I'm holding these boys accountable for. Correct. So it was just too much water in the pool. Yeah.
It's hard to say if what we would have said for like Thug's charges, because honestly, I don't know what Thug's charges were. I don't know if they know. Like we didn't know.
Rico.
Yeah.
Do y'all like his?
That was it.
Yeah, we definitely knew that. But I mean, if the other two didn't get charged with Rico, because they also kept emphasizing, well, it's not illegal to be in a gang.
Word choice. Like
I think what caught us off guard too was when like Max asked the question, I think it was Doug who asked the question of Viverito about the hierarchy and the leadership of gangs, and she said something about there's no leadership, and I was like,
we talked about that earlier. We was like, it's a wrap. What have we been here for?
What are we doing here?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That was
wild.
Yeah. That was wild, yeah.
If you sorry, go ahead. Somebody saying something?
No.
Okay. I don't want to interrupt anything. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. You guys it's 2 hours. First of all, thank you so much
of your time. As you can tell, we were the outspoken ones in the jury room.
I love it. I love it. Listen, you are doing us the favor for sure. And of course we got Shaq over here to join us. So this has been golden. Let me see if there's any questions that I'm missing. We talked about Woody. We talked about Thug and his plea.
Did we say anything about? Well, now let me skip that question.
What is it now?
It might be a little messy question, man. I don't want to.
You can ask. No. You say that we gonna bring you on our channel. You can ask all the messy questions. You gotta do us. We did you a favor for a year.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
I have your channel. Your YouTube channel is pinned. So everybody in the chat, the YouTube channel is pinned. Make sure you follow them, subscribe so that they can get monetized and get the money and start making content. So
channels today, so there's whatever. But we're trying to get monetized so we can give y'all the tea because we, right, yeah. I know y'all want to hear more from us, especially if we
Come
get a little wine.
Syrah. Syrah apple though.
Only the apple.
Hello. Now that this is over, have you got? I mean, and I got in contact with y'all so quick, and the day has gone so fast. But have you started to kind of do a deep dive on some of the content surrounding it, and have you started to kind of get the different perspective about stuff you didn't know? Have you started consuming content surrounding this yet?
Not really. We just been kind of focusing on what can we do to
use this as a healthy platform.
To have our voices be heard. Because I did notice that it had been a lot of I did look on TikTok at Juror 387.
Yeah.
And then I saw some stuff that we weren't necessarily too happy with, because not too much on my girl 387. But obviously all of this happened.
Wait, which one is Juror 387? I'm sorry, don't
387 is over here, that's not in the camera. That
387 is the wonderful person that had to come in and sit down and talk to y'all a couple times about why I can't have my freedom.
Oh, I like you, girl. I know who's on the other side of the camera. Oh, hey, I was mad when you came out as an alternate. I said,
yeah, all of that in the alternate. Yeah.
Oh God, I said, Lord, you were the GOAT. Yo, and when they say,
I'm glad they didn't let my girl 387 go, because it would have been a long way without her.
I mean, but I think I did not consume anything on the internet, but I think getting the feedback from other people that know me personally, and to hear some of you can hear in them their level of annoyance. I've heard some things where it would have been oh, automatically she gonna be biased. I mean, a fact is a fact, regardless of how long it take to come out. That's been my attitude the whole time. Regardless of the fact that I couldn't do what I wanted to do, I still wasn't gonna jeopardize somebody else's situation or not come back with some kind of factual argument. I think I've displayed that today on the live, that it is opinionated, but I can also back it up, right? And then two, hearing myself being displayed in different manners from some people that shall remain nameless on this live. But it'd be real cute when the opportunity presents itself to have that conversation.
And let me give a little context.
You missed I don't think that we actually at least for me, I don't have any interest in actually going back and actually recapping some of the stuff that happened behind the scenes for us, because a lot of that stuff seems like legal stuff that I'm not a lawyer, so I wouldn't even I was more so when we first came up what y'all been saying about us, because that's more so I was curious to see what people had to say about the jurors, because that's where our expertise lies. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna watch your videos though to see some of the recaps and see some of the stuff that we missed that might shed some light on some stuff that
I'm gonna go look at some messier ones though too.
How was the Juror 30 or 56 selection? How did y'all come to the agreement that he was the foreperson?
And nothing to do with that.
56.
Nothing to do with that.
I mean, it was between him and one other juror, and I mean, it honestly could have been me, because I was in there running.
Okay.
Board. He was writing on the board, and I was really the one that was driving the ship. But he kind of volunteered for it. It was between him and one of the other jurors, and we were just no, not you for sure.
Yeah,
we'll go with 56. Yeah. So but he actually did a really good job with kind of keeping everybody on track and all of that stuff. So it wasn't terrible. I like 56. That's my friend. So
that's all of our friends.
Yeah. Part of the three.
Yeah, he is.
He definitely a part of this.
Yeah.
I got a message from the Williams family. They wanted me to say, tell them thank you so much for being so honest. Because they've had to deal with so much with their brother and everything. So and then they said thank you for answering the question on whether how y'all felt about the family. So thank you so much. from them.
Yeah, that was something that we never forgot about. That like I said, that there were like right on the other side of the glass from us, there was families. It was like real lives lost, and people that were suffering because their loved ones were incarcerated and stuff like that. So that was something that we always definitely kept in the front of our minds.
Yeah,
so
and keeping in mind, like, people, life is on pause just like ours. Like, I wanted to get out to take care of my business, but
it could be worse because I could be in one of their positions.
Right.
So we didn't take that lightly.
Right. And we also saw the many opportunities that Thug did, present to the people that he grew up with, and as and as well as opportunities that he wanted them to have. It was it's like that saying when they say you can lead them to the water, but you can't make them drink it.
Make them drink it. Yep.
So at the end of the day, he did his deed. And what they took out of it, they took out of it. But and it's sad that he got the fucked up end of the stick because somebody did whatever at whatever time. But
I didn't know anything about Mr. Williams, honestly, before the trial. I didn't know anything about it.
Oh, so you've never heard his music before?
Well, I mean, I think because my daughter was like, "You heard this song?" I didn't even realize that the Go Crazy song with Chris Brown and him, like a song for like a whole summer. But honestly, I don't really listen to rap, so I didn't realize that it was him. So I honestly didn't know anything about his music and stuff like that. And to be honest, like the way that they presented him in his trial, it honestly made me look at him like she said, and they wanted him to kind of look in like this negative light, but I saw somebody who kind of pulled himself up, got himself out of the position that he was in and tried to help other people around. So I mean, it actually shined a more positive light in my eyes than what the state was trying to present. So I wish him continued success with everything.
I think it kind of goes back into
all of them.
That part of how we started. Like, a lot of us are really curious as to how did you select me for this?
I was definitely like that.
Because granted,
baby,
do I know who Young Thug is on a bigger picture? Yes, I know he's an artist. But to say,
do I know
his discography,
right,
and the kind of music, and the fact that granted, I grew up in Atlanta, from Adamsville, that's fine. But I don't know, that man about 19 years younger than me. I don't know this man. Like you put us in a predicament and you want to convey a message or for us to be able to keep up with a story. And it's like, okay, but that was 9 years ago. Like, who
is he today?
Who is he now? What did he do yesterday?
Right. I'm not the same person I was.
Did he show out 2 weeks ago? We missed it. Like, I don't know.
You don't want to find. You don't want to see what I was into 10 years ago.
And when they kept saying like he was a part of poverty, he was this, baby, I'm straight out of the projects.
Right.
They don't define me at all. Period. Put me in a room full of people with money, I know how to blend in. Put me in a room with a whole lot of motherfuckers that talk like this. So today I don't let his music, because again, something that Shark kept saying, like, today's music is different from what it was when we were younger. A lot of these kids, what's selling and what's going to really pay the bills and give you your fan base to, to be bigger, this is what's selling. What they call it, the drill music.
Yeah, drill.
My daughter have a concert in the shower every night. I'm like, baby. That's why when they brought Slime Life Showed in, I was like, let's do something before I go broke, kick your door. So I'm not,
I know nothing about it. See, that's how you know, like, you know about it. I don't know nothing about my daughter. Listens to K-pop, but we can.
That's the good thing about a jury. It's like it's a mix of all different types of people. Like, I mean, this is coming on to a year. Like, I think we got to the end of this when we got. I think November 27th of 2023 is when we started, and November 27th of it's like we're in Thanksgiving, like we're almost done.
Done by that day.
Yeah,
we wanted to be done that day because we were going to play it on the lottery. All of the jurors were like, "We need to play 11:27."
11:27.
We're going to end, and then some people didn't have the decision. We like, God dang, where go that? That was supposed to have numbers.
56 was going to be my lucky lottery number.
Don't bet too much on 56.
Hey, look, I can't handle my guy.
I bet.
In a headlock.
How do y'all feel like Max could have did better as an attorney? I don't know if y'all already discussed this, but I kind of want to give him a little tea.
No. Max was the shit.
Okay, I want to hear this, Juror. Let's say what you got to say. I need to hear what you.
Listen, Max had to grow on.
No, it took her. It took her some time.
387 and 225. That was like
387 and 225. That's
me.
Yes,
387 over here out of
okay.
I did like Max more before Steele left. His recovery was quicker. I think with Steele coming off, right, and then it being him and Weinstein, him and Steele kind of
say what your chest. I would.
They
right.
Okay.
So if Max went first, right? If Max went first, he kind of like laid foundation, and Steele, in his very lengthy wink, might shed light to something that may not have been easily conveyed to the rest of the box if some of us didn't catch it. I think him going behind Weinstein, or even sometimes setting the tone for Weinstein, was a little bit different. So it's like it took him longer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't complement each other as well as him.
But Sharp broke it down.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm not taking from that.
Like,
But if you think about differences,
Weinstein, to me, he was the shit starter. And what I mean by that is in a good way. It's like he just go like, okay, why you got to watch?
Well,
Is it? Like it's like,
where is that watch actually? Look,
right.
we still wonder where that watch is.
Set it up. Shard, he finished fixing it up, and Weinstein just come and knock that motherfucker down. like that's just how it was. Like when you seen them three go back to back,
or even Matthews.
Oh,
even with Matthews,
yes,
because like even it could be something like the spell with the guy, the car being stolen, right?
Yeah.
The car being stolen and coming up out of the garage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Him asking the questions that he asked coming out of that, and it's like, oh shit, perspective. If you got your shit stolen, what the fuck was the phone? Why you had to walk up 3 blocks before you talk to somebody? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think Weinstein and Matthews had a very good habit of like, if you miss something, shedding light to those opportunities.
right. Okay, so
But I think Shard and Steele were really good at like that compliment. Because sometimes Steele went down the alley and it'd be like, brother, come back. You come back.
You leaving me.
You leave it. Come back. We didn't even have to go that far. Come back.
I think they all played well with nice.
They did.
They played well with one another and kind of complimented each other's. But the state, they could learn from that. Like I feel like the state didn't necessarily have that balance, that give and take, that okay, I'm gonna take it here, you knock it out. Like they didn't necessarily, it was kind of like very individual. And even though you guys had all separate clients, it seemed like everybody was kind of looking for everybody.
We were in tangles. I'm talking about we were a team. I feel like the statement that they say all the time is like the Avengers. Like all different attorneys have, like we all had different roles going back and forth.
It seemed like everybody had their own strengths, and y'all utilize those, and it worked out well. And when it comes to Shard, like what my daughter be saying, 10 out of 10, no notes. Like I can't keep on Shard. To me, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's nothing he could change. Like I mean, I think you can see the difference losing Steele, but I think he's still
a good listener.
Well, Steele's tactic was definitely slow, steady. Make sure y'all actually like any holes that were there have to be filled. Like there's
Let's suck in a minute.
You might have to glue it down.
Right.
You know, definitely.
Doug also did a fantastic job. I'm talking about looking at y'all. Like, I think we all kind of had our favorite jurors. Like
Wait
the way.
a minute. Who your favorite?
387. He already don't cheer for you. What you want me to
Oh yeah, no, that was hey 387. Hey, look, hey, you held it down. Even I think it was like when they offered you that. I don't know who I said something. I think I said something to my dad when I was like, yo, they offered that woman a job with this. Then they told her she couldn't. Oh man, that would have been sick. That was sick. Yeah.
Are you? Oh, he's wearing the spider stuff.
He is.
We need some spider.
Oh yeah. Okay. Look, hey, I don't.
I couldn't wear my graphic stuff to the court, but I wore it today anyway.
I'm not gonna say someone special watching this, but hey, man, look, the spider is here. Guy,
Listen,
you know,
text the Williams family and tell them we need some merch.
Listen, I love it. Let me ask. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I have another question from the man himself. Oh, and just send me an email with y'all sizes.
Okay.
We got a little package coming in. Did they know he was going to jail for? Oh, okay. The infamous Mr. Steele getting locked up.
I think that's what she was asking us about. She was going to show us something.
Wait. We gotta show them that clip.
We couldn't find it. Slow down.
No, somebody tagged me on Twitter and they tagged me in the clip. Let me get it really quick because somebody tagged me. Shout out to the chat.
Y'all didn't know that he was getting arrested?
No.
My sister, I'm giving my sister a shout out. My sister, she went to Northwestern biomedical engineering. Now she's a patent agent at this law firm in Chicago doing big things right now. That same day was the day she graduated. So I'm sitting in her graduation watching her walk down.
Oh, you weren't there?
Oh,
and
no.
I get a text message saying, Shaq, is Brian okay? And I'm like, wait, what's going on? I hop on my phone and all I see is Brian just like, y'all have to see this video. Y'all have to see it. Y'all have to see it.
But wait, this is the day that we were actually in court, or is this one of the days when we weren't in court?
Mel, I wasn't in court, so I can't remember.
I'm talking about the jurors. Like, were we in back when he was about to do
I think you guys had been sent because I think the day continued. I think he was held in contempt, and then the state was like, Your Honor, we want him to be able to be in court and continue. And so it came down to at the end of the day. Y'all were in the back. Y'all were in the back. Yeah.
So he came back and we didn't even know. Like we just didn't think.
I probably didn't just think nothing of it.
Y'all missed a whole. It was so. Okay, I'm gonna play the clip somebody tagged me in. Hopefully it's the right one. If not, I think I have a timestamp to something else. But hold on. Let me share the screen. Hold on. Is it this one? Yeah, this one. Okay.
I feel like if anybody was gonna go to jail, though, it would have been Steele. I believe.
Okay. This might be it.
I can see why. I can see Harvey.
I could definitely see Harvey.
I can see Harvey.
Oh, Bruce. If anybody,
I have an interview with Bruce, and so the next time you're bored, watch the interview because he talks about a time that he went to jail on his anniversary. It's a good time.
I could definitely see that.
If anybody was gonna go, it was gonna be Harvey or Steele.
Yeah.
If anybody was going.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Let me play it. Hopefully, it's the right. This is the thing. Here we go.
Take Mr. Steele in the custody, please.
Wait a minute. That's how we started.
Yeah,
Look at him.
take him into custody.
Who did it though?
Always in some stuff. Of course, bro.
Damn.
Look at him.
Oh man.
I ain't been taking off his tie.
Oh God.
I ain't mad at it.
Okay.
Come on, sure, coming up to help your friend.
Oh, you gotta come help your friend.
Right.
They're like locked in.
Right.
Hey, hopefully this is long. Hopefully it's long enough to get when he comes up to the mic. Hopefully this is long enough because it's so epic.
Yes, sir.
He's gonna be mad. This is stuff we had to deal with when he was in there. And he got to take us back and forth to our cars.
Being here, you're removing me against his will, my will. You're taking away his right to counsel, and you're conducting material parts of this trial without me present, and I can't learn about it by watching online. So for that reason, additionally, I asked for a mistrial. And I assume you denied, but I'd like you to deny our motions for mistrial. You denied the other people.
I denied your motion, but I'll certainly take that under advisement, sir.
Wait, did they catch the part where he said that one thing?
I think that happened later. I think I got to find the other clip. I think it was
Adam's looking like this is bullshit.
Adams asked to be taken back there too.
Exactly.
Adam said, "Shit, take me back there too."
Adam got a problem with
Wow.
Man, there's yeah, but that was
We almost finna have to have free YSL still.
Yeah. And now we see, because the deputies be like, man, y'all just don't understand. Like, man, like y'all think y'all got like, I'm tired. The whole time deputies got to deal with all of this while we sit up in there putting puzzles together.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah, ready to just waiting to go home.
And count our snacks.
Right.
How many?
They were stealing our snacks.
I see y'all little notebooks. How many notebooks did y'all have each in total? Like
one.
Oh, your notes was either small or just not there.
387
I mean,
did one notebook, one damn notebook.
I definitely had one. I was working on. I was about to use another one when they came to closing, but then I'm like,
this don't count.
What the fuck I need it for closing? So just
who had the best closing to y'all's opinion?
I think
Weinstein,
short, sweet, and to the point.
Yeah, to the point.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't discredit our boy.
It doesn't.
If I think about
Char did good too.
I still like Weinstein. I kind of fuck with Atkins, Shard.
Atkins.
I mean,
wait, who was y'all favorite prosecutor?
We talked about it.
You missed it.
Oh man.
You gonna have to go back.
My bad. I gotta go back. Okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm done asking questions.
That's gonna be a long video to rewatch.
My bad.
Let me ask a couple questions that people were asking, and then I'm gonna let y'all go because I have to go be a mom as well. And y'all have given us almost 3 hours of your time, and I'm so thankful and grateful. And to Shaq for joining us. This is the best. I didn't even listen. I was out here stressed about doing it. This is great. I want to ask about, a lot of people were asking about the red suits, and at some point the states decided to start matching each other. And on the last day in Weinstein's closing, he was like talking about colors. The states all in red. Are they a gang? Did you guys, first of all, was that as hilarious to y'all as it was to us? And number two, how did the weight of the colors, like, did that matter for you guys? Did colors and gang signs and like a lot of the stuff that was included in the pleas and a lot of stuff that they emphasized, did that hold any weight for you?
No.
It didn't, because I stayed in true religion. What is that? I stayed in that. I stayed in the truth. I stayed in red. It was one time when I said, look, I gotta calm down on this red shit in a minute. But
I couldn't see the state from where I was sitting most of the time, so they noticed a lot of times. Like they were color coordinated before that, though.
Color coordinated.
Yeah, at the beginning they did it a lot, and then they stopped.
When we got to the summer months, it kind of slacked off.
Yeah,
I would definitely say the cooler months, the wardrobe was better, so you got more color variety. It was more consistent. And then the summertime, we kind of chilled out. We had our 7-week hiatus, and then they came back. So if people were paying attention, the red had been played a couple times. Burgundy had been played a couple times. The blue, the white, black, the houndstooth had been played a couple times. Yo, I said my notebook.
She had notes on all of that in her notebook. I didn't think anything of the red because, like I said, for the most part, I couldn't really see from where I was in. Like I couldn't see. I did see on the camera. Because I remember asking, like, is that family? Because I see a bunch of red, like, in the camera of people that were sitting in the back. They're like, no, that's all, like, the prosecution team. And when we started deliberating, and one person brought it up, how they felt like it was kind of like a slap in the face. Like, you don't get to tell them that they can't wear red, but we can wear red. And, all this stuff. Like, I didn't think about it like that until somebody else brought it up. But I also did pay attention that they was all wearing red.
I mean, I also think it was one of those type things of trying to be unified as the process.
Right, but red though.
But like of all the colors, red.
Right.
Especially since they had already done like
the
blue earlier in the week. or she did the purple a different day. Like,
I could see colors like purple and yellow and stuff like that, but the red, it was very much so like,
and then
y'all can't wear red, but we can wear red because we run this, and we can do what we do. It's kind of what it came off.
I feel like it was an intimidation tactic, but it backfired.
It did. A lot of the stuff that they did backfired.
It did.
Before my next question, let me just update chat. I added Shaq's Twitch and his Cash App. So look at the scroll at the bottom. Show him some love like y'all been doing the whole time. It's been amazing. So make sure you guys hit up his Twitch. Twitch is like the streaming. I feel like an auntie. Like, what y'all doing over there?
Right. That's where Kai Sinat be, right?
So yeah, make sure y'all hit up his Twitch and his Cash App. The other question I wanted to ask is about the McDonald's video that Brian still emphasized a lot of times. Did y'all start wondering where the McDonald's video was? Like, did it?
We knew the question was coming for sure. No matter who got up there, we knew that still wasn't gonna let it go. So he asked somebody about the McDonald's video or
the McDonald's in the green store.
How the footage is. Yeah. Does it record from the first day to the Yeah, we knew it was coming. We like, here you go. Here go the questions about it. Like,
no matter if you had nothing to do with
he was waiting. He was waiting on what's her name? He was waiting on her.
But I think thinking back on it actually was a good thing for him to keep asking that, because the more he said it, the more that I was like, this got to mean something, because he keep bringing this up. Because at first when he was asking about the footage and stuff, like he was asking about it before we even got to like that part of the crime, and so it didn't make sense to us why he was asking that. But it started making sense, and it was like that was a good tactic, because we definitely kind of, it was in the front of our minds. Like, we wasn't going to forget about that McDonald's footage and how y'all didn't have McDonald's footage and somebody lied about
footage on everything.
That was the original watch.
Yeah, and that was the original watch. Yeah. I think it worked.
It made sense.
It worked the way that he did it. We got tired of hearing it, but there was a method to the madness, and it worked.
Yeah. Another question, I think this will be my final, and then Shaq, obviously, if you have more, and then we'll let you guys say anything you want to end with. But as Fulton County residents, right, because that's why y'all were selected to be on this jury, is that you guys live in Fulton County. And so now that you've been on the longest trial in the history of Georgia, and you are residents in this county, I'm curious how you feel about the DA's office.
The DA's office.
I had to throw that in there because my taxes went up. Go ahead.
About the DA's office, which are supposed to be, right, the team that is advocating and fighting for the community that you live in, right? And so to see this trial unfold the way it has, and to see these men who were being prosecuted for crimes that ultimately you all decided they did not do. And so I'm just curious about how you feel about the DA's office at this point, and the fact that they are supposed to represent the interest and the safety in the community that you all live in.
I'll go first because I feel like my peers gonna take a pause before they give you an answer. I will not say that they don't have the intent to look out for the community. I don't think that's what it is. What I do think the biggest opportunity is, one, how to convey a message, two, actually making sure that things are properly researched or investigated, or actually like deep diving to make sure that things are fair, firm, and consistent. I think that showed a lot throughout this process. Like I said previously, I feel like a lot of emphasis got put into things that didn't really have value. Like if it would have been portrayed in a manner that did not display as a personal issue and kind of like stuck to what the case was, what the problems were, and actual evidence, could I say I have good faith in this county? Probably. At the present moment, it's kind of iffy. Like, is it a personal agenda? Because like I'm not convinced I'm just not convinced. Like that may be something that you're passionate about, but I don't feel like that was properly displayed over the 372 days.
You better know the number.
Yeah, because she's like, where did they get these numbers from? 170. I said they're talking about court days, like actual days. You're including the weekend and the off days.
We said it was sequestered. Days, I was sequestered. I could pick up money like I want to. I can't come like I want. 372 days I've been incarcerated. Yeah.
Right. And this is my grand appearance because I've been at work. And everybody at work, like, where you been? At work. And then doing a YouTube channel, like, you ain't been at work. This is where you been. Hello. For me, I'll just piggyback off what 387 said. I really don't. Give me a good way to say it.
No, you ain't got no good way to say it. You ain't got it. Come on, cauliflower. Let the cauliflower slip out just one time. You've been holding it in. You've been holding it together. Really good. You've been holding it together. You've been doing really good.
I don't really have. Maybe I shouldn't just base it off this particular case. I don't know. I don't know what to think. But if I had to base it off what I have seen thus far, we in doo-doo.
Yeah.
My experience with like the whole like criminal justice and like all of that stuff in Fulton County has only kind of really been through with this. I don't have like family members that have gone through and to hear about like the conditions of Fulton County through this trial was really eye-opening to me. And like, if I'm being honest, I only voted Republican on one name on the ticket and I voted against Bonnie. Like, I can't even lie, because if she's at the top, I feel like all of this is because of her, and I feel like something has to change just from what I saw throughout this trial. Like, something isn't right, and I don't never want to go against Black women. Like I said, my daughter is going to be a Black attorney. A female attorney, so I want to like support us at all costs, but I honestly like look if it's going like this, and this is a representation of what the rest of the county is going through, and like the conditions at the jails here and stuff like that, like there definitely needs to be a change for sure.
Yeah.
And I hope like eventually, I'm going to law school this year or this upcoming year.
Let's
hopefully,
go.
Hopefully I can also be that change, and especially you said, I think it was your daughter that you were telling us about that is going to is thinking about, like, I hope she is the change.
Shout out to my daughter. She goes to the University of Pennsylvania, and she's going to do great. A rock star attorney eventually.
Yes, she is going to be great. The reports. Did we already talk about that?
What reports?
The reports that was missing.
The reports. The investigators' reports. How big was that to y'all?
That was no, the ones that Shark kept asking about.
Yeah.
That was big for me, because I'm just like, okay, how do I tell this story and try to present this to the jurors? And I had a report for everything else that don't make sense. But then the stuff that does make sense, it got lost. I left it in the file cabinet. I don't know who got it.
When I switched jobs. And
I mean, I feel like that. And I also feel like even with the Viverito part, what job at any level can you work somewhere and not have detailed notes?
Yeah, you document it or it don't happen.
Everything or it didn't happen. Like, it doesn't matter in any part of my career. I've always been told, if you can't go back and look at it or document it, because who's going to expect you to have this memorized? Something that happened 6 months ago, 2 years from now, the details that may be omitted, whatever the case may be, you document a file. If you sit down and you talk to a customer, I assisted this person with X, Y, and Z, I took these steps to do blah, 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 right? Regardless of the industry, something is supposed to be documented. How I came to this conclusion, why I did what I did, who I talked to in this process, even if it's a refresher, it may not even go in full detail. You mean to tell me all these people with these extra pieces of paper, because you got past a high school diploma from somewhere, Nobody put nothing on paper. Nothing's documented nowhere. There's not no notebook that went somewhere that said that this is what I did in my personal time. I always got who don't have a cell phone in their hand. You ain't put it in a notes. It ain't a memo somewhere.
On top of it, you been watching this group of people since 2000.
But these children knew you when they was children, and you was vetting them through different processes to feel comfortable to talk to you. But then miraculously, when you commit a crime, ain't nothing on paper. But I can walk up and give you a hug because I used to help you when you couldn't tie your shoe in the third grade. Then the math, not math.
Yeah.
That's it.
It was.
Yeah, no.
We wasn't here for the missing reports, and I did love that Sharp brought it up every chance that he could about where the reports went, because again, he kept it in the front of our minds that it's something going on, or they're not on top of their game.
Right.
So that is, reasonable doubt. To me, it's creating doubt. So I think he did what he was supposed to do when he asked all those questions. Yeah, the selectiveness of the notes was like raising questions, or like, why are there notes about this, or why does it, so
the most important notes.
Yeah,
but don't nobody know who the manager at McDonald's was and why they couldn't get that recorded.
right.
The chat wants to ask about Zachary. If you guys remember Quindarius Zachary, were you guys aware of his health concerns and his health conditions? I didn't know. I don't remember what was put in front of you.
Yeah, he said that they got him from the hospital or something.
He brought that
like
up on the stand when he was sick, but I don't know the severity of it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the fact that at one point the question was asked of him if he knows, I think it was Gaither, and he said she was effing somebody. Did y'all hear that? And then it was like, wait.
we caught that.
I did the love then. Really?
Yeah.
It's really nothing that was said in that room that the jury, at least one of us did.
Yeah. I mean, we caught most of what was said, but we also knew that it was kind of like, at least for me, like, that's crazy. But I also can't really consider that. It's kind of just like, like, I'm still looking at shenanigans. Yeah, but it was a part of the shenanigans. Like, it's here we go again with some more mess. Like, that's crazy.
Okay. You about to say something, Shaq?
No, I'm done. I'm good. I think we've gotten everything. I think.
Okay. Yes, it is. Wait, they want me to play. This is the last thing I promise. I'm playing when what's this man's name? Steele said he wants to. When he was being held in contempt, he asked Glanville if he could be cellmates.
Wait. Oh, damn. I just wanted it to be a surprise. Let's just throw it on there.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, I'm going to play. Let me play it for you guys. This is the rest of the clip that I didn't play. So hold on. Okay. And thanks, chat, for the tag.
I'm going to order that you be taken into custody, incarcerated in the Fulton County Jail for no more than 20 days for this contempt. Those 20 days consisting of every weekend for the next 10 weekends. And you'll be reporting to 901 Wright Street Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318 at 7 p.m. on Fridays. You'll be released on 7 p.m. on Sundays. And it's to commence this Friday, Sunday, August the 18th at 2024, 7 p.m., subject to further order of this court. And that will be entered and e-filed. Yep. You and your counsel deem appropriate after that. Okay.
Can I ask a question? I'm going to file a notice of appeal, but for whatever reason that doesn't take, and you don't give a bond, then I'd ask that I can be with Mr. Williams and we work on our case all week.
Right. I don't give a fuck about that. Right. What?
I speak with Mr. Williams all the time.
That's.
Can you house me?
Right. Right. So we can work on the case.
See, if I get in any trouble, friends,
right?
Call YSL still.
Was he actually like in jail?
No,
we were on break because Steele was in jail.
He Brian is what we call a super lawyer.
So he didn't actually have to go to jail.
Yeah, and I think it was reversed. No, the Mrs. I'm not a lawyer, you know more. I think it was reversed, and the Supreme Court kind of put a thumbs down to that.
His wife is also an attorney, and
Yes,
he basically
Colette Steele.
Oh, Colette with the C for Colette.
Colette, yeah, C for Colette every time. He loves, bro. One thing, Brian he loves his family. He's a family man. That man loves
for Colette. And so at the end of the day, the whole Georgia defense lawyers pulled up for that man.
Wow.
And they got with Glanville, and he ended up not going to jail. He never had to serve any of the weekend jail. They appealed it, and the Supreme said absolutely. So it was reversed, and he's fine. It was hysterical, and you guys missed it, but it was a time.
Right.
Yeah. That was wild. That was a wild
time. Before we get off, any last words you want to say, share before we sign off? 508, starting with you.
For the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity for allowing us to speak. This has been a crazy experience for all of us. So, we appreciate you allowing us to kind of voice our opinions and thoughts on this serious topic. As you can see, we kind of take some things lighthearted, but we definitely kept the seriousness at heart and the gravity of all of the stuff that was being faced. So, we just wanted to kind of get our side out. So we appreciate the opportunity.
For sure. Thank you guys a ton.
Thank y'all so much. So don't forget to send me y'all's email.
I can't.
If you can make like we'll talk.
Yeah, I can hook it up. So thank you, all three of you, for joining and sharing. This is such a treat for the people who have been following this and wondering. This has been so amazing. So truly, thank you for doing it on my platform. Also, there's so many people who are covering this. And so for you guys to do it on my platform, like seriously, it really, really means a lot. I hope you guys thought it was a good conversation. They were so entertaining, but also informative. Make sure you follow the Jurors Speak on TikTok. The YouTube is Surviving YSL. I got some Cash Apps and some Venmo, so we gonna hook that up. Thank you to Mr. Shaq, okay, Mr. Kokomo, for joining me.
Thank you so much.
You come on, and he was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have something to say. So I am so thankful that you decided to get up here and join us for this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so inspired by you and everything you do. Thank you. I appreciate you. Shout out to Thugger Daily as well. He's been a great person. I had to give him a shout out. He sent it to me and said, Shaq, hop on. I said, yo.
Listen, Thugger Daily is the GOAT out here. Okay. I did what I could do, but Thugger Daily is truly incredible. So also if you're on X, if you're not on X, that's really the platform he dominates on, but he detailed this case every single day. And before the case started, I mean, he is truly the GOAT out here. Like, he was really, really incredible. Shout out to all the content creators who covered this. Like, everybody was so just tuned in and keeping everybody updated, and I think really gave this case the publicity that it needed. Shout out to Law and Crime, everybody. I'll do all the shout outs, but everybody, shout out to the chat again for being here. Appreciate y'all for giving as well. Make sure y'all subscribe to me, subscribe to these nice folks, follow all their stuff, and everybody have a good night. It's dang on 11 o'clock on the East Coast. Go to bed.
Ooh, it's time.
Go to bed. I'm gonna go get them out
over here.
Good night.
Thank you so much, y'all.
All right, y'all here, stay here. I'm gonna end the stream, but we can chat for a second before y'all get off. Okay. All right, bye chat. Good night, everybody. Let me end that.